Greetings, tankers. Adam Snellgrove here with some high-caliber October news. Grab some tea and some pudding, and let's begin. First, remember that if you still haven't claimed the most generous gift in all of the game's 15 years of history, don't miss it. You still have time until update 2.0.1 release. The WOT Plus subscription recently got even more economic benefits, plus 3 manageable XP bonuses. And you can try it out for free. Anyone can get 30 days of WOT Plus, even if you've already used the trial period before. Tanks 2.0.1 brings long-awaited game events and a large-scale reworking of 4 maps: Erlenberg, Fjords, Highway and Overlord. On the last one, fighting has moved deep into the mainland. Looks like the Allies are pushing through. Remember that soon, right at the start of October, World of Tanks will have a temporary Battle Pass chapter with an Uber collaboration. Just the way you like it, steel, armor and guns. Double the guns. Meet the legendary Wolfenstein universe. Join the ranks of the Resistance to get unique rewards, including familiar characters. One-man army William Blazkowicz with a 0 perk and a voiceover by the original actor. Wilhelm Death's Head Strasser, also with a 0 perk and a voiceover by the original actor from the Wolfenstein games. It's no secret that Blazkowicz loves his guns. A two-fisted Hulk like him needs at least 2. German, heavy, dual-gunned. The premium E65 Zwilling tank in a unique 3D style with visual effects. This tank will be your trump card in the battle against the baddies. We'll also have bundles with other characters. Anya Oliva, who saved Blazkowicz's life, leader of the Resistance Caroline Becker, and Blazkowicz's arch-enemy Frau Engel. Good company for Wilhelm Strasser. Join the Resistance. Uber awards await. Next month in World of Tanks, our beloved girls return in their equally beloved Panzers. Yes, Ghouls and Panzer are back, this time with a brand new tank school that has never been in the game before. That means new vehicles and a new crew of brave tank girls. Which one, you ask? Beats me. See if you can guess the captain. Share your ideas in the comments. She will teach you that a battle must be fair. After all, this fundamental rule of sport is just as important in World of Tanks. So, we're looking forward to reinforcements from Girls and Panzer. Panzer 4! Onslaught Season of the Zur Dragon is in full swing with the Ashbringer as this year's main reward. And so is the AMD Onslaught Legends Series Season 4 that will run throughout all of October with a mid-season break. Watch the best teams on the European server battle it out on the big stage. Maybe you can take a tip or two for your own battles in the ongoing Onslaught season and claim all of your Twitch drops for the OLS token store. This time you can even get a Tier 8 premium tank there. And of course, don't forget to help boost the prizes by purchasing the OLS bundles with 100% of the proceedings going towards the prize pool. But the events don't stop there. The second half of October sees the start of Babylon Forbidden Zone, where we'll return to the Mirny 13 universe. Gather a platoon with your friends, collect Miriam, and prepare for the new boss fights. You'll also find rewards from other dimensions, including a unique Tier 8 premium vehicle. And that's not the only activity we have lined up for Halloween. In honor of the spooky celebration, as well as Dia de los Muertos, expect surprises right at the end of October. A chain of missions with wickedly cool rewards. And of course, Twitch drops awaits. Just like last year, World of Tanks will take its place of honor at TwitchCon. From October 17th through October 19th, turn up to talk to the Wargaming team and World of Tanks streamers. Quickie Baby, Skill 4 LTU, Mouse Acrobat and Mayland. If you can't go, no worries. Every day we'll be running streams with succulent mystery drops. October 28th is Czechoslovak Independence Day. From October 27th through November 3rd, log into the game and complete missions to receive themed rewards. And to get even more rewards, watch selected streamers on Twitch. You can get personal reserves, emblems, inscriptions, and a unique 2D style with delicious buchty. It's time to broaden your horizon with a brand new World of Tanks game. No, not 3.0 just yet. This time, it's a card game. Yes, we're rolling out onto a tabletop battlefield. Well thought out rules, hundreds of familiar vehicles, and endless room for your tactical genius. World of Tanks the card game is an ace pick for both card sharks and deck guppies. I'm off to finish the missions for the Windhund. See you next month.
Frau Enkel, allow me to introduce you to the culmination of our engineering, Goethe-Faust. 2 guns operated independently for optimal firing rhythm, high output, high endurance, or for unleashing a salvo. Absolute and final. Armored for frontline combat with mobility that defies its mass.
Beautiful. I want to see it kill.
Fine. Watch. Control, this is Blazkowicz. I've got their toy. Now tell me where to drive it.
Route southeast. Friendly pickup waiting at the shore.
Wait! Enemy armor inbound from the west.
You build it, I break it.
William, be careful. More tanks incoming.
Let's see what you got, sweetheart.
William, come in. William, please answer me.
They want a monster? Let's give them a nightmare.
That was just one battle. If you want to keep that tank, you'll have to fight through the rest.
This is the world's most advanced processor. In entertainment, its rendering speeds render other processors obsolete. Powers cloud services for billions. Helps change the course of climate change. And uses AI to accelerate disease detection and cures. We make the world's most advanced processors, but only with your vision can we advance the world. AMD. Together, we advance.
The Onslaught Legends series Season 4 is here. But Liberty finds Jockey, and Katsai, the last one for his team, will not be able to pull the 1v3.
Onslaught Legends series champions will be Cashback.
They do complete the Cinderella story.
Finds Akka and it's Twilight and Liberty left wondering because it's not going to be the Ukrainian team of Cashback. It's going to be W from the pits of hell coming through the lower bracket.
Akka blows up as well, and W completed 6-3 2 times in a row. OLS champion. I think Moth Mafia are on victory street here on Himmelsdorf. They completely rewrite the map and rewrite all of the scripts that everyone had. It's going to be them taking the finals in a 5-1 fashion.
Tune in to the action, September 30th through November 9th.
Well, hello there, and once again, welcome to the Onslaught Legends series, sponsored by AMD. It is Season 4, and it is also Playday 4, Ducky. So far, we had a lot of one-sided matches. Now we have Yogurt against Cashback coming up. Do you think we're going to break the trend or no?
We'll see. Today, I don't know if we're really going to be breaking that trend. That's the question that remains to be seen. So Playday 4, like Keyhand said, we have a few more Playdays to go before the mid-season break 3, to be exact. And we have a little break and then we come back, rolling full steam towards the finals on the 8th and 9th of November, and then quickly after that WCI will start as well. And what the teams are playing for is this prize pool, currently 42,210 euros. You can still make that go up much more by getting the bundles as well. Of course, First is going to take the lion's share of the money, but this season around slightly different than previous seasons, with everybody getting a taste of what it's like to be a winner.
Absolutely. So the last teams, even those, are going to go home with some money, but the first two teams actually are going to walk away with hardware as well. Thank you very much to AMD for sponsoring 18 AMD Radeon RX 9070 XTs. Every player in the first two placing teams is going to take home one of those.
Yeah, it's a nice little bonus to those teams as well. And moving on to the teams that we need to see perform today, Kian. There's a few of them. Bottom of the league, Vortex definitely needs to be doing something there to get out of that, not having won a single round so far. And then there's also, maybe not worrying just yet, but W not on a hot streak this season so far. They normally never do that well in the regular season, but they also have to be a little bit careful. A defeat here today against Carrillo would raise a lot of eyebrows.
It would raise a lot of eyebrows, and it would raise a lot of concerns, definitely, because remember, the points that you earn right now in Phase 1 carry over towards Phase 2. First of all, though, shout out towards the bundles. As Daki said, you are able to raise the prize pool for the players playing here. They're really putting in a lot of time and effort, and you can also reward yourself with cool content. By now, maybe you're going to have a better idea which bundle you're going to purchase, for whom you're going to root with the Oracle bundles that are going to be available for Phase 1. But I think before Phase 2 starts, we're going to cut them. That being said, a lot of people also, of course, interested in the OLS tokens that are in the Twitch drops currently. As today is a regular weekday, we have once again 5 tokens in store for you. I believe 150 minutes watch time required. And what can you get with those tokens? Well, premium tanks, 3D styles, 2D styles, Days of World of Tanks premium, consumables, or experimental reserves. The choice is really yours. I think we should have something for everyone.
There's indeed a little bit for everything, even if you don't want to lance and plenty of other stuff you can get. Talking about the standings, already touched on it earlier. Bottom of the league, Vortex and Carrillo, both currently 0-9 in the rounds department. Both fluffing some rounds as well. Yogurt got that win under their belts in the previous match day, so they're up on 3 points now, evening it out with W, who's also on 3 points, but W is now starting to face those teams in the bottom half of the league. Their match today will be against Carrillo later on, but we're starting off with Yogurt versus Cashback, then on to Mafia versus Vortex, Carrillo versus W, but last but not least, the fight for first, Hit and Run, taking on Weekend.
Yeah, talking about new teams coming into the league and not performing so well, I think Weekend is definitely a shining example of how to do it differently. First of all, though, it's going to be Yogurt against a Cashback. And, well, Yogurt is one of those teams that kind of has been in the OLS for quite some time, for quite a few seasons, but never really managed to make it towards playoffs, hoping to do it this season, although, well, the start of the season, not the best one for them. They have one victory now, they want to double it up, and on the other hand, Cashback, there were a lot of questions towards this roster coming into this season, but so far, so good for them.
Yeah, they seem to be doing all right, although against Weekend Keyhand, they should have lost 3-1. They ended up getting a point there, which you could say they honestly didn't even really deserve. That Sand River throw from Weekend was a legendary one. But I mean, still.
You know, it takes two to tango. It takes one team to throw, and it takes the other one to catch it. And that is certainly what Cashback did in that round on Sand River. But yeah, here we can see Aphrodite. Not the best KD, but honestly, it's hard to get a good KD if you're mostly on the losing end of the teams. But that average damage, 4.3k, that's quite the number.
Yeah, he's pulling through for his team. The KD is always going to be pretty bad, you know, because your team is always losing. So you don't really get to survive any rounds unless you get capped. So that's a statistic you don't really want to look at. Community prediction, though, yeah, 6 to 94%. I think it's too much towards Cashback, to be honest. Cashback has, in the past, over and over struggled with these Ukrainian teams. They have historically not done that great against them.
Yeah, and especially Yogurt. I remember vividly a match in between Cashback and Yogurt. I think it was phase 1 of season 2 or 3, but essentially Cashback completely fell apart on Ensk when that was previously the map they were really known for. That all being said and done, though, both teams have gone through quite some roster changes since then, so I'm not sure how much we can actually take away from that for today and for now. I mean, it is, of course, the first time that these two teams are going to be meeting in OLS. And what maps is that going to happen on? Well, it is in front of us now after Moravanka and Ensk being banned out. We have Siegfried Line. Once again, the new addition to the map pool being first picked. I think Yogurt quite likes playing that map, actually. Cashback responding with Pilsen. And then middle, a lot of maps being banned. Ghost Town would be the decider if it goes there. If it goes according to community prediction, not sure we'll end up on that map.
No, if it's up to the community, it's over after Siegfried Line. You know, Cashback packs them up 2-0 and Yogurt forfeit the match, but that is not how it might go. Siegfried Line, Yogurt played that against Hit and Run as well. I think they had a massive advantage there and then ended up kind of stalling out. Let's put it that way. They probably learned from that and they want to play it, so they probably have a pretty good idea of how to approach it. We talked to External this weekend. He said for him Siegfried Line is a very difficult map. You can even see it on the layout. There's a lot of corners, a lot of alleys, a lot of positions where you can put an E4, you peek, you take 750, hard to retaliate, so it's understandably a difficult map for the players as well.
That being said, I would love to finally see Siegfried Line being played aggressively. I don't think we've really seen that as of yet. Now, though, predictions coming in from the casters. Well, the Cashback logo is there 4 times, but the actual prediction's kind of different. I see Baby copying Phil's homework here. 3-0 victory for both of them. I'm once again giving the consolation point over towards Yogurt, and for you, you see them more evenly matched, actually. 2-3 tiebreaker.
I mean, historically, Cashback never does that great against these fellow Ukrainian teams, so I feel like they're going to struggle on this one as well. If history taught me anything, it's that against these kind of teams, they sometimes struggle. So if they do, you know, I'm in the clear.
Yeah, I think game and match plan for either team. I think Yogurt probably wants to get early advantages in the round, and then they just need to be careful not to throw it. Because I think so far in the OLS, Yogurt has been very good at actually getting initial advantages against teams, but then, you know, keeping the pressure on and keeping the advantage in their favor. That is actually where the weakness comes in for them. So that is what they need to work on. And for Cashback, this in turn means they probably want to play the slower game. They probably want to, you know, give room over towards Yogurt to make mistakes. That being said, though, into the game we go, and some former teammates here matched up against each other. Well, I think the teams here for the Observer are switched at the moment, so this would mean that Yogurt is coming in here with, there we go, Cashback coming in with an MBY, double Type 5 Heavy, a 140, double E4, and the light tank Liberty in his signature vehicle, the RHM.
Yeah, in return, Yogurt, no light tank on their part. An IS-4, 277, a Type 5, a CS-63, an Object 140, and double E4. So they're opting against that light. I haven't seen it that much either. That gives a lot of info control normally towards the side of Cashback, but of course they haven't spotted all tanks, so they can't exactly know that this is happening.
First of all, Liberty wasn't able to hit 4 tanks with his plane, so doesn't have a replane available. This is why immediately Yogurt take the information tower, rightfully so. Good reaction. Liberty has taken the artillery strike, so has a plane back and available. Doesn't want to use it quite now, though, and this means in the early trade, I think Yogurt actually with the better end for it, because they got the full info. Cashback doesn't have it yet. I don't think so. And both teams have an artillery strike, so slight information advantage for Yogurt currently. That being said, though, Inbo takes a lot of damage in that CS.
Yeah, it gets clapped by a Type 5 of Vladislav between those houses. That's one of those angles that you don't have in random battles, but it has been opened up. It's where you see the AMD banner between those buildings, gets spotted out, takes one as well. I was just about to mention that if it comes to a fight later on, I mean, Yogurt has that one extra combat tank.
Of course, I mean, the RHM, kind of the best light tank currently to be, you know, supporting the fight. It does have a pretty good DPM for a light tank, though, and that is kind of the issue here. It also means that Cashback, they don't really have the sustain as much as the RHM obviously sacrifices all of its armor and a lot of HP to have that good of a gun as the game. Right now, it is a bit slow, and that is maybe in Cashback's favor, because as I said, they want to slow it down. They want to give the opportunity to Yogurt to make the mistakes, and already taking a look at the HP bars, I think those mistakes have been made a little bit. At the moment, I would say Yogurt need to make the move because they're trailing.
Sure, but you could also say that in this kind of battle, you just want to gather up strikes if you're them. Ignore any HP deficit in the beginning and just play for later. Liquor gets a good shot against Twilight. So he's dropped to about 2.2. But so far there's not really any opportunity for Yogurt to make a push. But they do need somebody to go pick up that strike though.
Exactly. As we can see, Cashback, they do have double strike available now on both Liberty and Mindbreaker, as another tank on the Yogurt lineup has just taken a little bit of damage. And I think Yogurt, they're afraid right now of taking over the strike once again, because I think the last time a tank tried to take it, he did pay a little bit with HP. Shelby getting spotted out and getting striked. So one of those strikes being used. Once again, parity established, but Shelby notably did not use the ability to reduce the incoming damage.
Baker trying to get a shot maybe against Ramadek, at least spot it out. He's going for it. There's a strike coming out from the side of Cashback. So they use their second strike. I don't know if I can agree with this decision making.
Yeah, no, it slows the strike a little bit down on the Yogurt side, but I don't think it's really going to be enough to completely prevent it. There is a pile of rubble where Rahmed is currently taking the strike, so he's going to be able to take that one no problem. Also, the plane kind of getting expended by Liberty here for no reason. That was a 2-charge plane that essentially
they might think it was the CS.
Absolutely nothing.
Maybe they thought the CS was taking the strike.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, also, Yogurt, we can see LaVey in the 140 on the 4 line, kind of in no man's land here. He doesn't really have a lot of tanks or people supporting him. So that might be a possible point of contention. For example, if Liberty reinforces Mindbreaker in the MBY, they could definitely take out this 140. First of all, Liberty is going to once again take the strike, and of course, as soon as he takes that and strikes someone with it, he is going to have a plane up and available once again.
Shelby going for another info. I think Ramlek realizes that he's pretty much spotted, so Liberty probably will not end up using the strike on that information tower, even if he would be a little bit late. So Shelby gets it for free. He's holding on to this one as well for a while. I guess he knows that currently they don't really need the information. And the question is, who's going to be the third person to collect the strike if you're Yogurt?
That's indeed the question. I mean, who can still take it? The 140 in theory, and the other tanks really are not mobile enough for doing that. And they also don't have the camo, so they're not going to be able to go on the cap unspotted.
They use the info, they strike like Twilight, for example. Good shot there from LaVey, but takes one back. Strike, ooh, takes another one. Good shooting from LaVey, very well done. They ended up not using the strike, actually. I figured maybe the 277 would use the strike on a low HP target, like the E4, so they can then focus them out later. And while that, he kind of, ooh, that's a good strike,
nice. Yeah, that was a big one, and namely it was on tanks that are not able to heal back the HP, right? That's also always a factor to consider. If you're able to strike those mediums, especially 2 at a time, then, you know, that HP, I mean, they need to get close to basically the IS-4, but that one, of course, only has 1 charge right now, or close towards the Type 5 heavy. But yeah, those mediums taking a lot of damage early on is problematic as the strike goes down on towards Little, who is able to reduce the incoming damage. Rachmedik once again taking the artillery strike, and I'm not sure who's capping it. It's going to be Liberty once again. He is going to be farming up his in-game experience as Invo goes to the information tower. I don't think they're going to reset him once again.
No, he's going to be able to take that one for free. Takes it as well. That's off a blind, but yeah. Cashback is not really challenging for information right now. They're totally okay with giving that up. Now, there is still 2 strikes available for Yogurt, but they're going to have to do a lot of damage with this to somehow equalize the game out.
Yeah, I think both teams started with roughly even HP, but at this point in time, Cashback firmly ahead. So Yogurt are going to have to make some good trades. They do have the tanks for it. WE4, Type 5 heavies, those tanks can really trade it out, but so does Cashback. So at the moment, Yogurt really on the losing end here. They need to pull out some miraculous moves to make it happen. Theoretically, they have the information available, but the last tower was popped quite some time ago. So, I mean, right now, can they make a move? I don't think so. What they're waiting for, we'll have to see.
Liberty making some ground on 1-2 line, gets it all the way behind A1. Needs to be careful, of course, due to the fact that there is a plane, but an information tower available for the side of Yogurt. But this is taking a lot of map away from Yogurt. They may not expect this to be happening at all, although Info and LaVey seem to be quite okay with giving that up and are moving towards the 9-0 line instead of covering at least this 277. I think the Info will be popped pretty soon as the other one is coming up.
I mean, Little is now the next one to take a strike for Cashback here. The info tower does get popped, so now they're aware of that RHM in the A1 corner, but does it really help them? I'm not sure, because the 140 of Cashback is very, very far back. Brainbreaker smartly has moved back. He was aware that there could be a possible move coming in, as LaVey is now going to take the artillery strike in that 140 of himself. So, as of right now, Yogurt starting to aggress on the eastern part of the map. What are they going to be met with is the question. Vladislav, I think, in that Type 5 heavy needs to be a bit careful. He's very far forward. Info tower getting popped, so full information available. This also means that Yogurt are out of info towers to use, and the northern one, that is normally on their side of the map, is not really up and available. Now Yogurt starting to make them move. YOLO taking the first shot in the Type 5 heavy, and as I said, Vladislav is going to be the first point of contention. Crossfire coming in from Brainbreaker. That's going to be the Inspire for the whole team of Cashback. They're driving into such a crossfire.
They're trying to execute one target. There comes the strike, though it hits home and a lot of targets in return. Brainbreaker taking the whole arsenal from the side of Yogurt right now. The HP is pretty dire for them. Can they actually execute one or two targets? Info and Ramedic have gotten very far without even being spotted. Now they'll get spotted out. Ramedic pushing on towards this 140. In that 277 misses on the first. That's a disaster already. 6,000 HP down for Yogurt, but they will find the first kill by the looks of things. However, they have plenty of low HPs of their own that could fall at any moment, and Cashback is trying to do just that. Brainbreaker is indeed the first one down, but look at this pocket here of Yogurt tanks trying to survive, trying to keep themselves alive. Currently they're winning the game. They've got 30 seconds to keep everybody alive and find more kills, because YOLO will not make it, but Akka bites the dust in return. Shelby is dead and out. Now pushing on towards Vladislav is Liquor and Aphrodite. They will need 2 shots, one from the E4. The strike will actually find that kill on the Type 5. Mindbreaker now pushing in with his Mivy as well, and it's starting to look pretty dire for Cashback, as this execution of these 2 targets is forcing them to drive out in the open to try and make it happen. And Love and the guys in the back in the meantime laying down the damage. Little low HP as well. Some bounces coming out on towards those one shots, and it's over. And I'm not sure who wins, and I think it might actually be Cashback at the end because of those bounces.
We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, there was a bounce in the last second of the game on the E4 of Cashback. That would have obviously been the deciding kill. So now we are going to hold it and wait for the referees to actually calculate the damage being done here. But yeah, that was ever so close. I think that was also the first time that I saw a team basically just wait for the end of the time and then actually go for that kill condition. Obviously, it didn't end up working out for Yogurt quite with the timing, but still, the fact that they got the HP disadvantage to shrink so much was also impressive. Like, if this game goes for 2 more minutes, I'm not actually sure who wins it.
How many Type 5s did Yogurt have? Is it 1 or 2?
So, here we can see, yeah, Yogurt had 1 Type 5, but, I mean, Cashback had 2, but they had the RHM.
But the RHM is actually pretty healthy, especially if you compare it to a CS.
So I'm currently hearing some rumors here in the production office, but I'm waiting, obviously, for official confirmation in my ears who is actually going to win. For me, just looking at the battle results, too close to call.
I busted out my own calculator as well. 21,552 versus... I still need to do the other one. Let's see if I'm quicker than production.
So production told me Cashback won.
It should be really close though.
By apparently 1100 damage or something.
900. Yeah, 900 damage roughly. Yeah, 900. Because Yogurt at 20.4k damage. That's a shame if you're Yogurt, because honestly in the end game I think they were winning out. Due to the fact...
winning out. And the bounce on the E4, I think that was on Little. I'm not sure if he was the one or Twilight, but one of the E4s in the last seconds of the game bounced a shot from either the 140 or the 277. And it was a heat shell, but against the front of the turret, so maybe kind of an unlucky hit. But yeah, imagine that shell penetrates. Then we are not talking about damage numbers, then we are talking about the fact that 4 is greater than 3, which of course is a lot easier to calculate. But yeah, congratulations to Cashback regardless. I think overall they kind of played the better, longer game, but then Yogurt identifying the weak spots, just bombarding that 140 and pushing it with 2 tanks that were not spotted, that was absolutely crucial.
No, the move onto the 140, like everybody else was taking a lot of damage for it, but they didn't make it onto the 140 and then killed him. And then Cashback had to push back in to make kills, and that enabled, for example, the 140 from Yogurt to farm really, really well, even though he was low HP. And then I think there was indeed a bounce on both the Mivy and the E4.
Oof. Unlucky. But sometimes bad timing can be bad.
True, but I don't think this is going to be a steamroll like people predicted. At least if the first battle shows anything.
No, I completely agree with you here. I think, like, throughout most of the game, it was clearly visible that Cashback was ever so slightly, but still out-trading Yogurt. But this, in turn, of course, also means that both teams are pretty close together in terms of skill.
Shouldn't be, though. Cashback should be far, far superior normally. normally.
Normally, but yeah, 2 bounces here separating Yogurt from the first point in the match. Instead, Cashback must be smiling a little bit and also concerned a little bit. How did they throw the HP advantage so hard? I think the Type 5s were, yeah, maybe not, like the second Type 5 was not engaged too much in the game, though I think Yogurt are gonna switch it up now for Cashback, a little bit business like usual. Double Type 5 heavy, a 140, a Hori, alright, WE4 and the RHM.
Yogurt in return, double Forge B, triple Bliska, 140 and a BZ. You said you were waiting for somebody to play aggressive. Well, it's looking like it's going to happen.
Although I'm not sure if I'm the biggest fan of the Bliska against the Type 5. Not only does the Bliska have kind of low-ish pen for a tier 10 TD, the other problem is that the Type 5 is very tall. So a lot of that armor angle that is protecting the Bliskavitsa from damage is going to get mitigated as Yogurt are immediately sending it. Triple Bliskavitsa into the city of Siegfried Line. They're immediately getting spotted. Brainbreaker opens up with a good shot, but triple cap is on.
They're going to try to make this triple cap work for them with the triple Bliskavitsa. They didn't take a lot of damage to get here though. Mindbreaker taking some by himself, and a strike will be taken on the eastern side, and they're predicting this western strike to be taken as well. Mindbreaker takes a lot of damage in that E4. These Forge Bs are unloading and they are doing some work. Twilight shot pretty low as well. Love bypassing that strike, and Yogurt smells blood in the water. They want to go for this knockout punch, but they got to be careful. Shelby realizes that the punch needs to be dealt by numerous players, as he by himself will not be enough to find that. Twilight will get one more shot before he falls, at least, as Invo finds the shot. Ramadic now pushing past even on towards the Hori, as Yolo and Love are continuing on towards Aka, and this is potentially a bad move here from that BZ, isolating himself just ever so slightly. Aka finding the shots as well. Ramadic will give a shot to Little, but Little's about to go to Ratata as he gets one. He then switches to Love for the second. The strike coming in as well. I think Little actually missed the shot, which is pretty crucial. No, he does find Love. He finds one more after, on top of that BZ kill, but as this battle continues, it's 4-on-5 for Yogurt. The initial lead seems to be just a little bit too much to overcome for Cashback right now.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves yet. The double Fosh B probably in reload right now as Shelby tries to defend Yolo, who is still reloading the gun of his. Should be coming in soon. Activates the ability. Shelby takes another hit as Vladislav goes down in the Type 5. So currently it's 5-on-3. And remember, Liberty doesn't really have a lot of sustain in that RHM as Little goes down towards a one-shot and the grave. It is 5 versus 2 players here. Cashback up against the ropes in the second round of Siegfried Line.
Yeah, this one looking a lot better for Yogurt because Liberty is down and it's just Brainbreaker, and as Siegfried Line is about to finish, Cashback is left with the hard realization that 1-1 is something they should be very happy to achieve coming out of this map, because in a different universe they are staring at a 2-0 match point for Yogurt, who have done a very good job here on Siegfried Line and have shown as well that they're here to play, but most importantly, Keehan, making sure to ruin your fellow colleagues their predictions.
Indeed, ours are still possible, and to be honest, I'm very happy not only to see that both teams are going to get points on the board here in the match, but also to see that finally a team is not afraid to play it aggressively on Siegfried Line, and they reward themselves with the win for this proactive play here. The Fosh B is absolutely crucial. Yogurt predicting the reaction coming out from Cashback perfectly, and against double autoloading Fosh B, you are not driving in for the resets.
No, those Forge Bs found a lot of damage in the beginning on towards Mindbreaker, and I think Twilight was the second player who were a little bit too far forward. The Forge Bs come out with their first clip, hit a lot of shots. Little doing a great job in that Hori, actually, 999. Beautiful. That also plays a lot off of Ramadic making a mistake, I think. Boosting a little bit too early, enabling Little to find a kill, which then leads into him finding another kill, which then leads into him doing another shot. He turns into basically a machine gun off of that small misplay. In the chaos it happens, but they were still very far ahead during that whole engagement. So really, really good job there for Yogurt. And Pilsen, we haven't seen it at all this season.
We haven't seen it at all, but that is about to change. 2 rounds are guaranteed on Pilsen, and if it gets split again, then we would indeed be seeing the tiebreaker here. But man, yeah, in another world, this is actually at the moment the match point for Yogurt. Keep that in mind. So far, I would say they have played, it's crazy to say it, right? But like the better team almost here against Cashback. Although I think a little bit of what Yogurt just showed here with that tactic on Siegfried Lion, it played into what they expected Cashback to do, right? Cashback was setting up very, very defensively at the start of the game. The RHM plus the Hori were driving on towards the field. That suggests that Cashback once again want to play a very, very slow game, and obviously forcing the hand of Cashback here with 7 brawling tanks, immediately forcing others to come close. They didn't really intend to cap at any point in time. Instead, it was the very well-known bait and switch, and they did indeed bait some tanks of Cashback perfectly.
Yeah, it was very good by the side of Yogurt, who so far seem like the better team in this match, to be honest. And yeah, I don't know. It's good from Yogurt, but I think it's also just historic for Cashback. They always struggle against their fellow Ukrainians every single time.
Well, let's see if the script slightly flips on Pilsen. Pilsen, we haven't seen it at all. This also in turn means that teams have not had to show anything at all on this map at all. Yeah, strat books not yet opened on this map. This also means we don't really know what exactly to expect. This is the first time that we are going to see it being played in the new meta, and the new meta is certainly showing its impact. Cashback coming in with double BZ75, double Type 5 Heavy, a 140, a Forge B, and Liberty in the RHM.
Yogurt in return, not opting for a light tank, 2 E4s, a Forge B, a 140, a BAT, a Type 5, and a T57 Heavy.
All right. I think Cashback, they have a very, very meaty lineup, save for that RHM. They have double Type 5 and the double BZ. That is a hell of a lot of HP to chew through. That's also why they are currently up 2,000 HP, roughly. That is good plane as well. Coming through from Liberty is immediately going to get the replane for himself as well. That is a lot of information, and he's using it to aggressively play on the field.
He will have a 140 somewhere, but not really challenging him. Aphrodite's taking the strike. Invo and Liquor are deciding not to fight with this. Ramedek spots out Little. They try to make a shot on each other. It does not happen. Little E4 to be careful from the BZ. Good peek there from Twilight. Getting a shot out as well. Mindbreaker looking towards one of these E4s here. And these E4s currently do not want to progress past this point, understandably so, because it would be pretty tough for them to continue much further. So they're kind of just baiting with this. They're not really committing to this cap. The information tower will be taken by the Forge B, and this is looking like a pretty tough battle for Yogurt, because vision advantage constantly in Cashback's favor.
Yeah, the thing as well is that I think Yogurt would have liked to cross one of those E4s over just to be able to not be one-strikeable with double E4, but the punishment would have been substantial. So I think the initial plan here not working out for Yogurt. Liberty even stealing the strike on the side of Yogurt here. So I think they still don't have complete information at all. They're playing kind of blind. For them, it is a little bit of a reset. And the Batshot of Yogurt now is going to maybe get tasked with a little bit of information gathering. The info tower does get used. This nets Liberty a level 3 plane of all things. But yeah, the crossfire in the west of the map is absolutely brutal. So I think if Yogurt want to make a move somewhere, it would have to be the mediums over the southern side, certainly not the E4s into the crossfire.
They might not even try to take the strike in the west anymore, to be honest, simply because they might get punished on the crossing. Cashback is pulling back one of the BZs even from the middle. Comes out with a strike on the Ramedek and Liquor. Gives them another plane, so they're just using those strikes because, well, they can. They're taking 2 more in the next 30 seconds. So, quite a lot of damage with those strikes. There is a small downtime here that looks to be utilized by the guys from Yogurt crossing the K line.
Yogurt here is certainly forming up, but that is, of course, dangerous against the strikes as they do drive through. Liquor taking a shot in retaliation by Aka in the Type 5. Also didn't have damage mitigation on, I don't think. Brainbreaker now here. The singular strike of Yogurt was just used to deny Brainbreaker on the information tower, and that is, I think, because the double medium currently is making the move over the southern side of the map. They are absolutely desperate to retake map control against the light tank of Liberty. Now, Aphrodite is going to peek here in the bat shot, immediately gets spotted, but no one is behind Liberty to be able to help him, although Liberty doesn't mind to take a shot off his own.
Remember, Liberty has to be still careful, though, if Shelby was to run it down without stopping. Also, Shelby never reloaded. He's had 5 shells for the whole game. It's like a small thing, but, you know, it adds up. But still, Yogurt has taken back some field positions, but they still don't control any strikes.
Yeah, I mean, Shelby, that kind of irks me to see him there with 5 shells. It's like in COD when you have the machine gun, right? And it has like 100 shots, you fire 1 and then immediately R for reload. That would be me. But yeah, he's going to be sitting on 5 for the time being because he needs to be ready to receive as Aphrodite is going to get sent in. Another shot connecting by Liberty. That is going to net him a level 1 plane of his own. But now he's going to book it away. Did use the plane on towards Aphrodite, who takes another shot of damage, and Liberty is just playing this one perfectly. He's kiting out that bat shot.
So the bat shot crossed over and took some damage, but now what's the next move here? Ramendek is pushing towards the middle in that Type 5. Brainbreaker already taken the strike. They're taking a strike on the east as well. Yogurt is down about 5,000 HP. Shelby also takes part of that strike. The plane comes out. Now both of them will be spotted. So Liberty knows, and this is not really going that well for the side of Yogurt. Another strike, luckily only hitting 1 this time, but still the deficit is mounting.
Lovey trying to hit the RHM with blind cross shots here, but another strike is going to connect. It just feels like it is a hailstorm of strikes that is currently being thrown at Aphrodite and Shelby, but obviously if you have the strikes available, you can just do that. Now Liberty uses the plane once again, but this time the tanks don't take damage anymore, so finally he's going to run out of those, though Lovey getting spotted in the 140. Liberty sees that, of course, so he is going to make a move away to not get caught.
Yeah, Liberty running away, and in the meantime you can see conversion from Cashback on the center tanks of Ramedic in that Type 5. Twilight from one angle, Aka coming from the same, dropping his HP to a 2-shot for these Type 5s. The Stinger quite far out of the battle as well. Ramedic will do one more shot. No, doesn't connect that one either, so he's going to die here against Twilight. Simple move from Cashback down the middle, and this comes forward from Yogurt just not really having any tanks or HP left to deal with this kind of heavy, meaty lineup from Cashback behind that RHM, which found plenty of assist already throughout this battle, plenty of strike damage. And for Yogurt, yeah, they had some initial plan that got stopped and tried to recover, but didn't really find anything.
Yeah, and to be honest, for Yogurt, it is looking kind of grim at this point in time. They're getting kited out, they're getting outplayed everywhere. Quick double kill now coming in through for Cashback as well. Still 7 tanks available and fighting for the team in white as Brainbreaker dumps a big shot into the 140. Mindbreaker here in the 1v1 against YOLO in that Stinger too. But yeah, YOLO doesn't have the shells available anymore to do it. I think he even just bounced one on the cupola as the second one connects, but now he is all out of shells for the next 20 seconds.
And this was a pretty clean, cool, calm and collected round from Cashback off of the back of having that light, having those positions, and you know, Liberty playing pretty much a flawless game in the RHM, never getting caught, always being ready. And I think he has a few thousand worth of strike assists as well, so all of that stacking up into a pretty simple but very convincing win for Cashback.
Yeah, I think Cashback played this one just about as perfectly as you can, right? It certainly was a stark difference from the last games on Siegfried Lion that we saw, where it was always kind of messy. The second one, they got caught out. They got caught off guard even, but here it was certainly the team of Cashback stepping up. Also, I feel like the initial openings that both teams had, Yogurt was once again putting a lot of their eggs into one basket, trying to advance over the cap with the E4s, but Cashback was just perfectly set up to deal with it. And then if you have a player the caliber of Liberty to play the outside game for you, then there is not a lot you can do. I mean, Liberty even top damage with the light tank and probably top assisting damage in his team as well. He just played this one to perfection. So yeah, 1600 strike damage for him and also 3.3k assist. So good job. I mean, Liberty sometimes, if you let a player like that one roam around, he's going to win the game for your team.
Well, they also had double strike, which is probably the more bigger issue for the side of Yogurt, because by the time they even repushed, they already took, I think, 6 strikes to the face on double targets as well. That is a lot of damage.
That is indeed a lot of damage, and it might also be a lot of moral damage or emotional damage for Yogurt, who now, I mean, arguably Siegfried Line 1 could have been theirs, but all of a sudden they're facing the match point of Cashback that seemed a little bit like caught off guard by Siegfried Line, but Pilsen so far absolutely their territory.
So far, Kihan. Let's see what battle number 2 brings. Still think Yogurt has got it in them. Maybe they need to play a little bit slower though, with a more controlled lineup. Maybe even fight Liberty in the lights, even though that will be pretty hard.
Yeah, but maybe sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and try to do something, even though it might seem like it's a hard thing to do. But if that's the only possibility left, then yeah, it is what it is. Still though, I think for Yogurt not everything is lost. If anything, they have shown so far that they can definitely go toe-to-toe against Cashback. They just need to find a good opening against this team and then, you know, not do the mistakes that we saw them do earlier in the season, as we do get the lineups revealed to us. Cashback coming in and switching it up a little bit. Double BZ75, a 140, triple E4 and RHM.
In return, Yogurt also bringing their own RHM this time, a 268, double Forge B, a 40U, and a Type 5 Heavy, and an IS-7. So a bit lighter there from Yogurt, but more bursty at the same time.
And talking about burst damage as well, that 268, we saw it, the Hori with the same ability, of course. It can absolutely start popping off, but getting that first shot of damage is always the problem, right? After that, it's kind of fine, but you need to get the first shot, get the second one, just keep connecting those shots. Once again, good playing by either team, as both players, Liberty and YOLO, are able to replay Aka, waiting here a little bit for his BZs to pass in, and I think Cashback this time around are trying to make this a quick match, whereas Yogurt, well, looking for the longer one, but YOLO already on the artillery strike, so Cap, as of now, should be averted. That being said, though, Cashback taking 2 strikes at once.
And that double strike, we saw it hurt a lot in previous battles already. They will not be able to take it, though. Aka does get denied, and doesn't just get denied, it gets pretty much owned for that as well. Minus about half HP on that E50M. Ramadik coming in as well with a shot. But now Liquor needs to be very, very careful in that Forge B. He's about to get pressured by the majority of the team from Cashback. There's a strike put. That one will miss altogether. Liquor does activate the ability and will heal out a lot of this. Liberty is still going to be behind this Forge B, though, putting some more damage into him by the looks of things. No, he's forced to back away, and you see Liquor pretty high level ability, so we'll be able to get through a lot of HP, able to get his clip out as well on towards Liberty, but that man's just tanking it. He doesn't care. Minus 1.6 on Liberty, but Liquor now in a lot of trouble, and there needs to be a reaction here from Yogurt, because currently they're up 3000 HP, but when Aphrodite falls, which he will at some point, because Twilight is literally pushing him out as well, but Aphrodite does a good move, swings around, keeps himself alive a little bit longer. Twilight just holding the shot, but now comes Aphrodite off of reload with that Forge B, wants a little bit of that E4. He says hello to my little friend, 400 damage at a time less because of the ability. Mindbreaker even fluffing a shot on Aphrodite, showing why he's so high on the damage boards. Comes off of reload and puts that E4 in its place in the grave, and Yogurt currently leading with 2 tanks.
Aphrodite once again starting to activate the ability. Maybe the RHM is able to come in. Nope, it's going to be the strike. He doesn't heal quite in time as Cashback are even in tanks, but in comes a strike to help Invo against the onslaught of WBZ coming his way here. At the moment, the tanks are exactly even, but Invo is taking a huge amount of punishment. Vladislav, coming off reload, is going to finish off the IS-7 tank advantage. Cashback, but look at the HP, Ducky. It's like 3k in favor of Yogurt.
And at the same time, YOLO is actually chasing down Liberty. He even finds the kill on him. Now Shelby coming in, needs to be careful from that E4. He's kind of just going to cross through. He wants to get the BZ out of the fight. He's not able to do that, so he will transition on towards Vladislav. That's a BZ versus a 430U. Don't need to tell you how that usually goes, especially with that DPM, as Love finds little. Shelby starting to open up against that BZ. The E4, however, putting in a shot as well, making Shelby push forward. But this game is going to a tie breaker, and honestly at this point you can still say, Keyhand, that unless Shelby fluffs this, Yogurt honestly even deserve to win this game.
Well, let's see what's going to happen. First of all, LeVay, you can see him chasing with that 268 ability active, and yeah, Shelby is just gunning it down against Vladislav. He's getting help from YOLO from the sides as well. Quick double kill for Yogurt, leaving only Mindbreaker in a basically impossible 1 versus 4. He gets obliterated, and Yogurt take this one to tiebreaker. The door is stuck to the 268. That is something I've never seen before, but yeah, good job to Yogurt.
It's an extra heat shield.
Space armor.
Yeah, it's actually space. Imagine if it worked like that. I mean, I think it's in some iteration we had some movable tanks, if you remember.
Movable objects.
Yeah, there's something like that. It would be funny. No, but you know, Yogurt find great success here. Was a little bit worried when the double push B get pushed, but the beauty is that Aphrodite gets the second clip, and I think it's the second clip that pushes them into win territory, because that's minus another E4. Which ends up being very important, to be honest. And of course, not forgetting the clip of Liquor. I mean, 6 shots fired, 5 hit, which is also, you know, important if you only do 1 clip. 12-12-12 is a lot better though still. But he did a lot of crucial damage towards that RHM as well, which opened Liberty open to a counterattack from YOLO through 1-2 line and put him down, and the game was really over after that.
Yeah, I think in those Foshbis, especially when you get pushed like this, not only is it important how you maneuver around it, the target selection also matters. And I think Liquor, even though he, you know, only got out 1 clip, he definitely realized, like, hey, this RHM behind me, doing damage on him is actually a lot more important than just dumping my clip into all the heavy tanks and TDs that are pushing in front of me. So great reactions from both of those Foshbi players on the team of Yogurt, who also reward themselves with a point. Not to forget that, right? Both teams now have a point secured. The coming round in the tiebreaker is just going to mean an additional 1, but in a different world. Yogurt,
they honestly deserve
all points secured.
They deserve to win it. If you look at the course of the 4 rounds, there's only 1 round that Cashback says confidently that they deserve to win, which was the first round of Pilsen. The first round of Siegfried Line, you could say both teams kind of could have won it, but it was morely favored towards Yogurt towards the end. And then the other 2 rounds that Yogurt won, there was no questions asked about who should be winning it. So if we take that into account, I think Yogurt deserves it, especially because they could use the points probably more than Cashback.
Yeah, and that being said, Yogurt actually had the choice of tiebreaker side selection because they had the fastest victory in this match, which was probably the second Siegfried line.
For sure.
But they did choose side 1, which on all north-south maps in the pool right now, except for Siegfried line, is north. So that is where they are going to be starting. Do you think there's a bit of an advantage, or is it just team preference?
I think it's more team preference, to be honest. How about you? Personally, to me, it never mattered what side that much. So it's probably just the one that they feel more confident on, more than anything else. But, you know, as much as I'm happy that Yogurt's putting up a fight, it's time for Cashback to put them down.
Yeah, normally Cashback is this kind of team that, at least in the past, they were pretty good at shattering the hopes and dreams of some of the teams that they played against. And I mean, Yogurt, they did reward themselves with a point already for a very good show, but it would it would be so cashback to now just, you know, pull the rug out from under them and just say like, yeah, okay, we're going to tiebreaker, and that is where we are going to stomp you.
Let's see. Cashback definitely has the light players to make this very annoying.
I mean, since Season 1, right? There's a reason that we commend Liberty time and time again. But, of course, the amount of knowledge that he has acquired over time, I think he's spamming random games as well, like not a lot of other people, like random Onslaught games. He's going to transfer that knowledge. He maybe has a few ticks and trips that he doesn't publicly put out, but I think towards teammates you definitely do that. So let's see what we are going to get.
I'm just curious, the lineups, you know, Rad Tactic, no Rad Tactic, Type 5s, Cap, E50Ms, there's a lot of different possibilities.
Yeah, and Ghost Town, we saw all kinds of different ways being played now here in Season 4 as well. I think the last playday we had La Rata once again winning out, but La Rata is obviously difficult to play. It depends how many good light players do you have, how many good medium players do you have. I'm not entirely sure if Yogurt would be confident enough for it. That being said, though, Cashback, triple Type 5, double Batchat, a Leopard 1, so that's a baby strike coming right in, and Aka playing the EBR.
Yogurt in return, though, double Type 5, a Bat, a Hurricane, a Leopard, an EBR, and a Light, so they are lighter than Cashback is. They still have the double Type 5 as meat, but they do have that RHM that can drop a lot of annoying planes against Cashback. Cashback does not have that possibility, so how will they play out this battle is a good question.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting matchup, right? Cashback definitely heavier with the triple Type 5 heavy, but at the same time, Yogurt, they do have a lot of firepower, but Cashback with the burst on the mediums as well as YOLO is going to immediately book it towards the field, but that move is getting mirrored. Now it's all about how the teams are starting or going to hit the EBRs that are just driving towards each other. YOLO taking a first shot by Aka. So far, no damage on towards Aka as well. YOLO getting wheeled, but not a lot of damage coming through onto those teams. YOLO taking a second one. Aka still very healthy.
He's out. Oh he's out. YOLO's out. That's the plane coming in from Shelby as well and towards Aka, but he also survives, so both of them will stay alive right now. No plane available for Shelby. Vladislav and Twilight now probably want to peek this Hurricane as quickly as possible, but Vladislav immediately getting taken 1.5k, but it's not much better for Lovey. Minus 2.5k, that's that double medium and zero line. Lovey peeking out for one more shot of damage as he will fall. It's Brainbreaker to pick up the first, and the fact that both of these EBRs have survived is a miracle.
It is absolutely crazy to see it. Aka and YOLO, though, both still in the row of bushes, suspecting that the enemy EBR is there as well. They are very, very close in the HP department, 842 to 850, so basically a 2 to 3 shot for most of the guns involved, but obviously there are some heavy calibers with the Type 5s lording in from the backlines. YOLO starting to make a move, starting to drive back again. You can see a lot of shells flying through those bushes right now because they're trying to catch Brainbreaker, who's pouring damage in towards those Type 5s. Gets spotted though in the Batchat, but seemingly has some rubble or something to hide behind.
Brainbreaker taking a shot. That was actually Shelby, and he immediately drops the plane off of that. Spots out Brainbreaker as well. He's on the move. He's on the run. 700. That was one of the Type 5s connecting. More damage coming out now from the Leopard 1 from the backlines as well. Aka pops his ability to try and spot, and Brainbreaker will make it back far enough, and that was a good shot there from Shelby. I think a blind even on towards that position. Now the ship plane coming back out, spots 2 targets, but I don't know if there's any damage on towards Brainbreaker. There is actually YOLO with the finish as well, picks it up. Brainbreaker going down, YOLO taking 2 as well, he's dead as well. That EBR getting a little bit greedy, but the plane will hit on Aka on that EBR. The random plane in the middle of nowhere. Aka is confused. He's dead. It's 5-on-5, and both the teams have something to play for. But with that RHM key hand, how does Cashback actually achieve anything?
I mean, right now, it feels like Yogurt's game to win here. They still have a Batchat, Yogurt that is, and Little kind of caught behind that that ship as well. So now Twilight is going to drive away over the open. No one really available to punish him right now. Invo on the long reload with the Batchat as well. And I think here the problem right now for Cashback is that 3 of their remaining tanks are Type 5s. Those are super heavies. Those are not very mobile. Shelby is going to pick up a plane as well in his RHM, and he is going to be the playmaker from here on out. He's going to roam the map. He's going to be outspotting everyone because Cashback do not have a light remaining.
Oh, and now with the strike being taken on 1-2 line, the smart play is indeed what they're doing. Yogurt is doing a good job. The obvious play, but the smart play at the same time, is take the strike on 1-2, expect Cashback to rotate. The fact they spot Liberty confirms this as well, and because of that, you know that there's probably still Vladislav stuck. You can even transition into the eastern play at some point. They're abandoning it. I would have liked to see them continue it. You know, put the light down the bushes and just slowly kill this Type 5 on the 7 line.
I mean, Twilight getting spotted here. He knows that something must be on the 1, 2, and 3 line. Probably even suspects that it's going to be Shelby in that RHM up to no good, but realistically, what can they do? They need to make a surprise push. How much of a surprise is it going to be? Little and Mindbreaker in the Batchat and Leopard 1 responsible, respectively, are going to be the hit squad. And Shelby, I mean, he has set up. Little's camo actually does hold for peeking this. Shelby taking a shot at the TIE 5 gets spotted in return. That's going to be the information that the mediums are on the 1-2 line. The Batchat, though, was spotted on the approach, so the RHM is going to make a fadeaway, spots both of the tanks on the way out. Aphrodite also starting to run. How much damage is going to come in towards those tanks pushing the 1-2 is the question, as Shelby takes one on the way out, but I don't think it's going to be enough. The strike, though, that is also very, very good for Cashback here, but Inboril has come to reinforce too. Aphrodite seemingly not able to stay safe, goes down towards one shot. The return strike's coming out, but there's one taken by Liberty from Cashback. He might be able to strike the Leo.
Well, there's a strike misses. There's a strike missing even onto Aphrodite, and now Shelby coming back up in the RHM. The steam has run out for the side of Cashback. Aphrodite surviving by the skin of his teeth, and now Shelby and Invo smell this Leopard 1 as the rest of the Yoga team is also moving in on towards the 5 line, on towards the Liberty. Invo pushing forward, closing out the kill on Mindbreaker together with Shelby. 2 down, 3 to go for Yogurt, and they deserve this win over the course of the battle. Cashback historically struggling against their Ukrainian counterparts and are now going to be losing 2 matches in a row against those teams as well. First it was Weekend, and now it's going to be Yogurt. Trouble in paradise for Cashback, potentially.
Yeah, those 2 Type 5s that you can still see here are not going to turn the tide of battle anymore, and it kind of feels like you predicted it, even though you didn't, right? I think you went 3-2 for Cashback, but like this, all of our predictions are going to be wrong, but you said it. Cashback struggling against those Ukrainian teams once again for them. And for Yogurt, this is actually super good news. This is going to help them so much in terms of the points, separating themselves even further from the teams at the bottom of the leaderboard, all the while being able to close up a little bit with the ones at the top.
Yeah, and they deserve this win nonetheless. I mean, I'm sad that my prediction is wrong, but they had a great series today. The only downside for them, I think, that they can be like, damn, is that they didn't get a clean victory, like a 3-1 scoreline, because honestly, if Siegfried line goes a little different, they close that out 3-1, and they're walking home with the full points in the bag.
Mm-hmm. Although I think we are starting to see a little bit of an upset here, right? So far we had a lot of clean victories across the board during the past play days. That is certainly not the case here. It was not clean by either team, and I would say the team that is lower on the leaderboard is normally going to be the underdog. So Yogurt do complete a small little upset. Congratulations to them. And for Cashback, with that 2-game losing streak, now I think it is time to maybe adjust a little bit.
Not just through the game losing streak, it's also the teams that they're losing against. Weekend is still a new team, even though they did really well. And Yogurt is on the bottom, was on the bottom of the leaderboard.
Oh my. Invo and Aphrodite once again up there. And, you know, Aphrodite's DPG already good. Now he's starting to improve the KD as well with 3 kills to his name in this game.
This all comes forward from, I think it was a blind shot from Shelby that hit Blaine's Brainbreaker. Brainbreaker takes more damage. He then runs away, gets replaned, dies, after which Shelby drops another plane, hitting Aka. Aka dies, and all of a sudden, Cashback, after killing Love relatively for free, is losing the game.
The interactions on the field are certainly something that other teams will take a look at, because it felt a little bit criminal how those EBRs were actually able to survive for such a long amount of time. Both of them also still fairly healthy, like 850 HP. That is at least 2 shots, because there were no Yak Panzers involved. I mean, of course, the Type 5s can try to HE it, but yeah, how did they survive for so long? 2 Neos in 1 game.
No, it's just it's a great game from Yogurt. Congratulations. Big points for them as well, Kian.
Yep. And this is also going to conclude the match here in between Yogurt and Cashback. However, that was, of course, only the first one out of 4 that we are going to have today. First of all, let's take a quick look at the replays, though.
The AMD Onslaught Legends Series Season 4 has arrived. And with it comes the chance to reward the players and yourself too. Boost the prize pool by purchasing team bundles. If the team you rooted for with a bundle wins, so do you by being able to upgrade the included style to a shiny golden version. Contribute now.
Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome back to the AMD Onslaught Legends Series Season 4 with replaced key hands with a younger model. Hi Alex, how did you enjoy the last match?
Hello Ducky. Well, last time it was very fun. We had a very close game, right, between Weekend and Cashback. But I feel like this game is going to be slightly different because we've got Mafia, a team that started fairly well overall, against a team like Vortex that has been struggling so far.
We can't forget Mafia won the most recent tournament.
Yeah, definitely. They have been playing quite well recently, and I think they started with a loss against Cashback, 3-1, right? But they have jumped back, and they look fairly solid, right?
Yeah, they do indeed. They're never a team that has like these amazing highlights, to be honest, but they're always very consistent. You know, like they're always just doing what they need to do, but flying kind of under the radar. This Vortex team, however, not really flying under the radar, but flying very low on the bottom of the leaderboard.
Yeah, they had quite a rough start, and I'm actually looking forward to see if they can take their first round win. Maybe today is the day, right? But we see here Rexar, highlight player from Mafia. He's been playing E50M and BZ. Overall, I think, like his teammates, he is very good individually, and yeah, his stats looks good.
Yeah, you wouldn't really pick like a super standout player for Mafia. At least I wouldn't.
Yeah, I think the entire team has very good players, and I think they cooperate fairly well, and yeah, it's more of a team play kind of team.
Predictions 95-5, pretty convincing, and in this case probably warranted as well, because Vortex has not really shown us a capability so far of putting up a fight in general, and they have a very tough opponent ahead of them right now.
Yeah, Mafia are a team that play very solid, and I feel like teams like Vortex that are already struggling, they will struggle even more against teams like Mafia. And I think the first map is Pilsen, right?
Could be, yeah. Especially because Mafia is not the kind of team to... They usually play a bit slower, so for Vortex, if they're trying to do something super aggressive, they run into a Mafia wall.
Yeah, definitely. And here we see the picks and bans, and indeed we have Pilsen as the first map. And second map, we see Siegfried Line. It's been played quite a lot recently, right?
Yeah, it's been played fairly often. In the last match we had it as well. We've had it every single playday. This is the first playday where we really see Pilsen come forward as a pick. Mafia is ending up on that as first one, is their pick as well. They're going to face off against Vortex. Siegfried Line pick, but this Pilsen pick for Vortex, slow play is not really going to work, but playing fast on Pilsen is very difficult.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's quite a bold pick from them. Mafia, as I said before, they play very solid as a team. And we saw the game before, right? Yogurt tried to play full city. And if you give a good team, as for example, Cashback, the ability to take map control and slowly, you know, gain strikes and all of that, it becomes even harder to win against these teams.
It's really hard to overcome the double strike and the double radio tower if you give up that field, because there's always permanent information on your rotations. Hitting a good timing is nearly impossible, so we have to see how Vortex decides to approach this themselves. Like, what is their way into this kind of fight? Yeah.
And we see here the predictions. I think it's fairly one-sided, just as the community predictions. You went there with 1 round for Vortex, so...
Just throwing it out there, you know, you never know. You never know. It's Onslaught, you know.
Definitely.
They find a good push, they isolate 1 or 2 targets, and all of a sudden you're looking at a Vortex win. Until they start throwing like on Cliff.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Yogurt. Obviously, they had a very good game against Cashback, but that push on Siegfried line just catching them off guard. This can happen over here as well.
Yeah, that was an aggressive Siegfried line push with the Blitzcast can indeed provide you with some possibilities. However, you know, Pilsen's still a bit bigger than Siegfried line in its current form. Those pushes, like those cap strategies, was like Season 1. We saw a lot of those until team really got good at dealing with them.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very curious to see how Vortex approach this game. I would expect them to try something fancy, you know, because overall Mafia are a strong team. And here we see the lineups. We might have some changes, but Vortex starting with double BZ, double type, 1 Inspire tank, the 140, 1 CS, and an E4.
Mafia in return playing RHM, E4, 140, W50M, CS63, and a Type 5 played by Yuzek the Wall himself. No light for Vortex, so they'll have to play off of no information.
Yeah, and as I said before, I feel like it's going to be quite tough to play against Mafia because you will need to find something fairly quickly. Because if you give them the ability, oh, YOLO, they're almost flipping. I'm not sure if you saw it. But if you give a team like Mafia the ability to take map control, it's going to be very hard on the long run.
Yeah, there's a lot of random objects on Siegfried line that are dangerous to an RHM for flipping. But Conquistador will get the strike in the middle. I don't know if YOLO will get there on time to deny it. If he does, it would be very close. If Conrad does, it would be very close as well. It doesn't look to be happening. Instead, Conrad is going to bring himself towards that eastern strike, which Noxious looks to challenge though in that BZ75. However, Conrad is not by himself. There's double E50M and quick support coming close now as well. So Noxious might end up peeking this, but he might run into double E50M. He does find the shot, but this is the difficulty with the BZ75. He's still in boosting mode. He's trying to go back, but it's -1 km/h only when using those boosters, and it starts off as a disaster for Vortex as Noxious does get the reset, but the reset is all he gets.
Disaster indeed, and we see that Vortex need to react, right? They just lost the tank and they are crossing through the open. Ilias there taking a big hit, big volley, -1000. He might even go down, and it looks very tough for Vortex right now. Ilias taking another big hit.
There comes the strike.
Strike coming in as well, and Ilias goes down. Looks very tough so far for Vortex.
Trying to react to this death by Noxious, who reset the strike. Did not expect a W50M, comes down to no info. Immediate reaction by Ilias, by Attractive, but you know, when you have 2 Type 5s and the enemy only has 1, it is quite a march across the middle to get into position. So Miku and Flappy, they arrive, but they don't arrive with too much, and they're playing a 3v2 because the 140 in support as well. In round number 1, we can almost write it in the books that Mafia will be taking this one home fairly convincing. Good start for them. It's not over just yet, but the recovery here for Vortex would be impressive.
Yeah, it's very hard to recover in these kind of games, especially against good teams. They know perfectly how to snowball and which sides to attack when they gain a big advantage. And we see that Lukin is the last one standing here on the field side, and also Miku is getting pushed over here by Kono. And yeah, so far this first round a bit disappointing from the side of Vortex.
Reasons to why the BZ79 at tier 11 is so nice. Interruptible boosters. I think Noxious would have liked to have one of those as well, as, you know, he can try to reverse, but I think it's capped at like 1 km/h backwards, which is the equivalent of pillbox mode in the STRV.
Yeah. It's once you pop that booster, it's over. You need to be very decided when you want to use it, and yeah, didn't end up very well.
No, it did not end up very well for them at all. And, you know, for Mafia, you could say at least the initial strat was very good.
Yeah, they started well, and as you can expect from a team like them. And it seemed that Vortex kind of got a little bit baited there. Noxious was very eager to go and reset the strike, and it did not end very well.
Which is the weird thing, because they already had the strike from the middle. They could have denied that strike with that. If they wanted to deny it so badly, then Noxious doesn't need to overcommit for that.
Yeah, and we actually see here in the post-game stats that Noxious did 2 shots before dying, but both of the E4s were, you know, 1 shot each, but obviously they were forced to react, and it was just a chain reaction, if you can call it so.
Yeah, the crossing was almost always going to be a disaster, especially when you have double type 5 that can't even cross themselves, driving down the middle. After Noxious dies, it's round over 9, maybe 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah, especially against a team like Mafia. If you give them something for free, they are for sure taking it, and in a game mode like Onslaught, they will just go for you. But yeah, I'm curious to see how Vortex will react, if this is going to go downhill as we saw in the first match days, or if they will recover and maybe we see a good reaction from them.
I mean, anything is still possible. This style that they're trying to play, though, this was hard to execute. Without a light tank, with only combat tanks, they have to play it very well, because, you know, Mafia has an advantage from the beginning of the game, knowing roughly what tanks they have. YOLO got a decent plane as well. I think it was 5 out of 7. Nobody replaned. So you have to be a very good team to play without a light against a team like Mafia with a light and successfully overcome the obstacles ahead of you.
Yeah, definitely. When you play without light, I feel like you need to have things very clear, and also reactions to all kinds of situations, and obviously playing with no info from the start is not easy. Even the most experienced teams quite often struggle because you never really know what the enemy team can do. You can get surprised by anything.
Now, round 2, we have to see if Vortex decides to change up something from their style. I mean, for Mafia, I think they'll play something similar. You know, it's a lineup that can fight. It's a lineup that can play slow. Those A50Ms, since they got buffed, very popular.
Yeah, very popular indeed. And as you said, I think Mafia will not switch it up too much. You know, they're in a good situation. I think they feel quite confident against Vortex, and they will just make sure that they play solid and they keep their lead.
Now, if you're Vortex, do you try to force the quick cap after all? I mean, again, they feel like they wasted an opportunity already. If you want a quick cap, it's usually from the north, not the south.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like North has a slight advantage, and they did not really, you know, do very well from North. But we will see. I think, yeah, we see over here triple CS from the side of Vortex with a double E50M. And yeah, I was thinking, no way they play with FV. And they will play with a light.
Both sides playing that light. Which lineup? The triple CS it's going straight to the cap, no?
I would expect so, and I think that triple CS in this meta, as you know as well, is very risky. If you do not succeed with what your plan is.
One of them is spotted by the plane.
Yeah, already one spotted, and this is huge info for the side of Mafia.
But they stopped at the CS63s. The funny thing is that Mafia didn't even care about the potential triple cap, because they have combat boosting towards the middle of the map. That, now they know that the cap is not happening. Even though they spotted one CS, Mafia is like, let's not get baited by it. They continue aiming at the field. Now the triple CS converging all the way to zero line. The obvious good thing about the CS63 is its incredible forward momentum.
Yeah, CS has great top speed, but I'm curious to see how Vortex will react to this, right? Because we spoke that once your initial thought doesn't really go through, as we saw there, they got spotted, they had to cancel, and we will have to wait and see how they react and how they choose to play this. And we see Miku slightly trying to make a move. I'm not sure if he will try to take the strike. They have quite a lot, right? They have zero line as well. So
great reaction by Mafia though.
Yeah, Mafia just absolutely left field, and the 140 is gonna anchor over there. Seems that RHM is taking the long way out, and they have double cap pressure. One strike as well that Conrad picked up earlier, and yeah.
The good thing for Vortex is that Tankistador has a plane, Miku has a strike, and Ilias is not that far away of generating a mini strike in the CS63 as well. This information tower probably will be enough to push him across the boundary.
Yeah, and this info will most likely trigger a push towards the 140 from Mafia's side. We see there the decap. Rexar will try to boost the cap, but I'm curious to see on this side how it's going to go, because Kono has to run away.
I mean, they've gotten the decaps, but they're out of strikes outside of Ilias. Ilias has one. Flappy, Miku currently don't have one, so that's important to keep into mind as well, because Mafia is still going for the cap here. And this little crossfire between YOLO and Kono is a very potent one, especially against CS63s that still need to cross the distance. It's 3-on-2 for the looks of Vortex, but there is an E4 joining. He hits Flappy for a big one as well. He's pushing forward against YOLO. YOLO says thank you very much. It's actually Kono to pick up the kill. Now Tankistador trying to pick up the pieces. The ram coming out as well, and Kono shuts that one down. The crossfire together with Orchek coming in deletes every single one of these Vortex tanks. They did not expect E4 to return, and I think Orchek even shot HE onto the side of that CS63 as Miku now realizes, well, I'm all out of trouble and I'm all in the grave, as the three-man hit squad from Vortex between the triangle of YOLO, Kono and Orchek bite the dust. Mafia with that cap pressure forcing the move, and fine again. Great success.
Yeah, beautiful read there by Mafia. They just went back and they absolutely destroyed that flank. We see here Orjek in the 1v1 with Ilias. There's not much more from Vortex. They just tried to push, and we see the E4 always being available, you know, to re-push the side and giving good alpha. And Lukin is left alone here. Rexar puts a big shot. Yusek should be able to finish him, and he goes down. And now Noxious re-pushing through the mid with basically nothing left.
No, in the CS63, you know, it's fast, but just purely combat ability. It gets the strikes, it doesn't get any other bonuses. 140, pretty potent with the Inspire, the RHM, then also a very potent damage dealer, to be honest, in that position that he was. And then the E4, I think Orchek even loaded an HE shell to clap one of the CS63s on the side. Flappy a little bit ahead of his teammates as well. I think they really wanted to be so quickly that they ended up trickling down, like one, then another one, and then Miko's like, well, unlucky.
Yeah, I mean, we see that I feel like this meta is very punishing to these very light lineups, and we really saw it here. I mean, you try to push one side and the enemy team kites away fairly well, and you have these big alpha tanks that are always ready to support, and yeah, it's very hard to execute with these type of lineups.
And for Mafia, I mean, again, good reactions. They do know that they get reset, but they continue that triple cap pressure anyways, because they also know that with the nerf to the ability of the sniper mediums, the strike, it doesn't generate as much points anymore for decapping. So they know that, you know, there's strikes coming out, but the CS63s, unless they start dealing damage, they're not going to be following up that with another strike. So they force Vortex to continue forward and drive into the waiting arms, and that's where we see that lineup just kind of fall to pieces.
Yeah, definitely. I wonder what the initial idea is. I mean, obviously capping with triple CS is the...
Yeah, that looks like the initial idea, and then, you know, one of them got spotted, so they were like, okay, let's abandon.
Yeah, but even playing this lineup against, you know...
I think you almost need to, like, shoot the BZ crossing into the strike.
Yeah, but BZ will get the strike eventually.
I guess the only real way it works is you go onto the cap at 3, you aim at the crossing, because you force the BZ to go, because he needs to take the strike or you lose. Tap him at 3, and then have repush down the mid and kill the BZ and play one gun up.
Yeah, we see here that Siegfried line is going to be actually not the last map, because it's still there is still a possibility for a comeback. But after seeing the first 2 rounds, I'm very curious to see how Vortex will try to bounce back.
Can they bounce back? They are currently 0-11, and I mean, you know, you're feeling bad for them at this point, right? With this scoreline that they're facing, it's tough. You want them to win a round at this point, just even one.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, don't you feel that some of these lineups are a bit bold, you know? It feels like the top teams are playing overall very solid lineups that rely on playing control and splitting map. And I feel like it's just way too hard to play against this, you know, against these solid lineups with such a light lineup as we saw previously. But anyways, going on towards the next round, we see Vortex. I was talking about solid lineups. They take triple type, maybe 4, with double 430U. That switch now to 140, and an IS4.
Okay, switched out. Mafia, though, an interesting pick. We saw it as well, though, from Cashback. Maybe double type, 140, WE4, and an RHM Panzer wagon. Yeah, maybe M5Y. It's an interesting tank. It does struggle in a lot of departments, but it has good cooldown capabilities.
Yeah, very interesting pick. And we see here YOLO taking the info tower. Again, Mafia choosing to play with an RHM. This will give them all the info necessary, and I'm sure that a team like this will know exactly what to do in every single moment.
I mean, they should. They should. Let's see if it actually plays out that way as well. Ilias, though, pushed hip in the west together with Lukin and Takistador. It's a bit different than we usually see these kind of teams when they're playing, because it's also a bit different in general. There's a cap attempt, Lukin with the perfect timing on the peak. I think there was 1, max 2 seconds left on that strike to be taken, and Lukin finds the shot. The reset hits that as well and pops the Inspire immediately, and the conversion is coming. The Type 5s, they are chasing, but this is going to be a tough chase. Already taking damage. Yuzek disengaging, trying to make it away. Can he get caught? He's kind of in the open though. Noxious should be able to get a shot as well towards that E4. He's still trying to get around the corner. This is Vortex's opportunity. Maybe Lukin can finish from the back lines. No, he ends up missing that. YOLO taking the strike in the east, currently not in the fight with that RHM. He needs to find very big damage, and he might even find it. Ilias with the IS4 actually finds the kill. I think that was with the strike that he picked up on that western point. Attractive will fall, but Rexar is soon to follow him. Kono still farming for the life of him, but all this time this RHM 2.5k HP not engaged, and Vortex finally find a pressure point that is working and hurting for the side of Mafia, as they've got 3 down and only 1 of their own. It does look like Vortex for the first time in the OLS Season 4 find an advantage, and now they just have to make sure they don't end up losing it. Flashbacks to that cliff battle where they had everything and lost it. It's not over just yet, but this map, it is small, it is hard for Mafia to disengage.
Definitely a great push from Vortex over here. They managed to pick up, you know, 3 guns. They have a good HP advantage plus a gun advantage, and like you said, the map is small, so hopefully we won't see any throws. We see that Mafia transitioned into some kind of cap. I mean, Barkis is quite isolated, I would say. And yeah, overall, a great push so far by Vortex. They are rotating down the 3 line, and it seems that they will slowly try to, you know, slow the pace down and use the advantage, which is very good.
They need... where's Tankistador? Okay, Tankistador is there. Miku, does he have a heal? Okay, honestly, they need to get like Ilias or Tankistador, or both of them preferably in range of Noxious, because the 2 of them will heal Noxious for enough that he doesn't die. It's a small oversight, right? You can keep Noxious alive at this point if you're Vortex. Now he's probably going to end up dying because, well, the 2 guys with heals are not near him.
Yeah, and like you said, these small details is what actually makes the difference, right? They have a lot of tanks that can heal each other, and in my opinion, it's very important to keep that gun alive.
Well, now he's gonna die though. There's no avoiding it. Info tower gets used by YOLO. He might even replane that Type 5, and Noxious goes down. This could have and probably should have been avoided.
Yeah, definitely. And you cannot give teams like Mafia any kind of, you know, small cracks that they can, you know...
Way back in, slowly.
Yeah. And we see YOLO making his way up. They are slowly transitioning here towards the south of the map, and they are trying to find something. Lukin is quite safe, I would say. They have healthy tanks in the city. And Lukin gets spotted. He takes big hits, 700 damage from both Kono and YOLO. And it seems that they are not going to stop. They are going to try to catch Lukin. At the same time, we see Barkis and Orzhech making their way up. And they do spot Tankistador. Kono misses the shot.
That's a
big
good
strike incoming. Very good strike. But Lukin should still go down, possibly.
Yeah, but he'll do at least a little bit more damage as well. Gets maybe one more shot out here. Lukin against YOLO. No, YOLO ends up finding it. Ilias taking another strike. And you started to get a little bit worried there. But that last repeat, the final one to get Lukin out, was a very costly one for the side of YOLO. It was about 1,300 damage. The strike coming in as well. And you end up worrying for Vortex because they have lost games like this. But this time around, they're trying to hold on. Another strike coming out makes Kono a one-shot. Flappy lost a lot of HP on that crossing, needs to find this kill. Instead he transitioned towards YOLO, who's actually fluffing the shot. Kono does not. This actually keeps Flappy alive, because otherwise YOLO could have peeked him. He's now farming the Type 5. Flappy finding a good kill, that's what they need. Miku's now dead though. It's 6k against 1k, surely not. There's only 2 tanks left standing for Mafia, and after losing 11 consecutive rounds in the OLS Season 4, it finally looks like the boys from Vortex have done enough, as Flappy finds YOLO, who bounces that 4-U once more. Yeah, even an Onslaught, that 4-U can be annoying. Those cupolas, not that easy to hit. Vortex pick up their very, very first round.
Yeah, very good display over here from Vortex. We saw a chunky lineup, right? Pushing through the map fairly aggressively, and I feel like there goes Orzhech down as well. I feel like overall what caused the chain reaction was a bit Yuzek getting caught, right? We saw he took a very big volley, he could not avoid it.
I think he's committed to staying.
I would say so. I feel like
they just all shot him running away towards the bunker where Kono is. Like, at least 2 of them wouldn't have gotten that shot at all. Like, they would not even get that shot if he stayed with his Type 5. It's like you want to get to safety, but instead you give them a kind of a free kill. Actually a free kill.
Yeah, it was a free kill, and as you said, sometimes you just have to accept your fate, and yeah, I mean,
and fight it out, because you know all that happened after is that the Type 5 is alone and gets focused out all the same. So Yusik does only 1 shot. Let's say he would do 2 shots in that battle, maybe 3. Unlikely. Actually, is it that unlikely though? Stays in position, does a shot and them coming close. They have to push over all the way. 3 shots is not out of the...
It's not unrealistic.
No,
yeah.
It's if he hits 1 on them coming in, it's not unrealistic for him to hit 3. That enables then Kono to stay longer as well, right? Because Kono can just stay at the bunker and farm, and gives his teammates a little bit more time to get back in position. Gives the RHM of YOLO time to get into the fight as well, who is picking up the Eastern Strike. So, you know, as well as Yusek usually plays, would they have one off of it? Who knows? Vortex found a really good pincer, but it would have been closer.
Yeah, who knows what could have happened. And I feel like the types, you know, they have big alpha, which is good to focus down targets, but you would have for sure had the chance to do 2 or 3 shots, I believe.
Yeah, let's say best case scenario 3 shots, worst case scenario 2 shots.
Yeah, maybe they bounce 1 or 2 shots as well. You know, it can always happen. But overall, I like the approach of Vortex. You know, Type 5 meta, right? Not sure if you've seen a lot of it during solo duo, but it's becoming more and more popular. You have a lot of HP.
It's one of the most popular tanks in Onslaught in general, especially on lower ranks.
Yeah,
look at the battles played. I think it's even the most played tank, or the i7's the most played tank. But then the Type 5 is coming in as 3rd, actually. It's the Batshot at the 2nd, and then it's the Type 5.
Yeah, and I just feel like it's a tank that, you know, it can tank a lot, but it's very important to be coordinated as a team because you're very slow, right? You cannot end up chasing tanks.
It's not a game-winning tank.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like Vortex played very well, and let's see, because after this round, looks like anything can happen on Siegfried. We saw earlier Yogurt surprising cashback with a quick cap, and
both those games, Yogurt maybe should have won.
Yeah.
It's bad for the predictions, though. I've already gotten scammed in the last game, so, you know, I'm on still here for the 3-1.
You're on the right track.
Yeah, today it's just my day. Vortex going for aggression once more. Double BZ, Object 144, Blitzcast taking something out of the books from Yogurt, but Yogurt did it with a double push B, however.
Yeah, and we see Mafia, a bit of a counter lineup, right? They have 3 4s, 1 RHM that should get the info to spot these Blishkas and their intentions. And we see Kono on the Inspire, and Bark is on Yuzek on the Anchor tanks, Mouse and Type 5.
If you're Vortex going very wide to the left, so they spot out double BZ and 1 Bliskavice. So they're still expecting this Western push, though, in a way, because Flappy and Noxious were spotted out. So, how much do you really gain with the attractive Tankistador and the third Bliskavice being unspotted?
Yeah, I mean, that double BZ, you know, spoiling a little bit, right? If there is BZ going towards that flank, there's most likely gonna be a push, and YOLO will spot out all of these Blishkas. And let's see how it goes for Barkies, because 3 Blishkas plus 2 BZs. Big HE incoming from Barkies. But he should go down very soon.
There's nobody to shoot him from behind. There's nobody to counter Barkis from behind. And now the push continues on the 3-4 line. They feel like they need to keep going. Attractive down towards the one shot already. They're driving into no man's land. And Barkis finally starts falling as Attractive is the first one down. And there you can see the Mafia repush on that 3-4 line. This was telegraphed. They knew because of the BZs. They were very ready as well. And only now does Barkis go down. And the E4s versus the Bliskavices, it's kind of an even fight because they both got the ability, but the difference maker, it's that A1 RHM. YOLO just putting in shot after shot after shot. The E4 is not forced to peek. YOLO is a thorn in the side that currently Vortex cannot clear, and you can see the struggle of the BZ-75 in this kind of battle as Orchek and Yuzek are cleaning up the city side. Vortex may have won a round, but Mafia has won the war, as they will be taking the lion's share of the points and leave Vortex with a round, but 0 of those points.
Yeah, beautiful repush there by Mafia. We saw Barkies anchoring there with the Type, and Mafia just came back to their side, and I'm curious to see how much damage YOLO has, because he has been hugging that bunker the whole game, and yeah, he just had free farm in the sides, right?
I mean, good achieve from Barkis. Bliskavice, side and back, extremely lowly armored against these HE shots, and without ability, 1100 does really hurt. And the biggest problem there is if they want to kill Barkis and continue snowballing from that point on, the double BZ turning left and getting on the same angle as everybody else doesn't really get them anything.
Yeah, I mean, we saw there the double BZ getting spotted.
I just don't understand. If you want to bait, you would have the BZs driving middle, like pretending to go to the cap and not left.
Yeah, and BZs are fairly chunky, right? I mean, you can go mid, and with the boosters, you can connect.
You can go cap and then cross over when the Bliskas are pushing low. But like, if you want to bait, I don't think if you want to bait and you expect to get planed and you want 3 people to be unspotted, you don't drive the BZs left.
Yeah, and we see here Attractive with 0. I mean, there wasn't much he could do, right? He took the big HE. And we see that against these teams, once a tank takes a big volley, he is going down, no matter what.
And then later on, yeah, the Bliska doesn't really generate an advantage against something like a E4, because, you know, the E4 on Juggernaut is just the only thing. Like, Bliska technically still wins, right, because of higher base DPM.
Yeah,
if but you go blow for blow.
It's just an awkward situation, right? They push down one line Mafia are ready for it, and they just get shot by the Type 5. And yeah, it's just very awkward, like you said, compared to an E4 to do anything in that situation with the Blishka.
So for Vortex, a round on the board, but they're going to need more if they want to stay in the league. When we come back, however, we are going to have the banger of the day. The position number 1 will be decided between Weekend and Hit and Run. But before that, let's have some replays.
This is the world's most advanced processor. In entertainment, its rendering speeds render other processors obsolete. Powers cloud services for billions. Helps change the course of climate change. And uses AI to accelerate disease detection and cures. We make the world's most advanced processors, but only with your vision can we advance the world. AMD. Together, we advance.
Hello gamers and welcome back to the third match of the day. And for Vortex, maybe, I mean, a match loss regardless, but their first round in the AMD OLS Season 4. There is another team that might end up as a 00 agent at the end of the Phase 1 here, and that one is immediately what we're going to see now. Kirillo. They still have 0 rounds, 0 points, so far 3 defeats. They're looking to change that, but their opponents are no slouches. It's going to be W.
Yeah, and potentially an angry W, because they're not on a hot streak so far. Kirillo also not on a hot streak, but, you know, W has certain expectations being back-to-back OLS winners. I feel like they probably would like to do a bit better in the regular season, because they sometimes do struggle. Last season less so than the one before, but this season again, coming in 3 play days, already losing twice. It's not what they were hoping for.
Yeah, so far the new picture for Frugo not doing him so well, but then again he looked a little bit angry there, and you touched about it. W so far under expectations, I would say. Today against Kirillo, that is the potential to redeem themselves a little bit. Nepal for W coming in here as one of the top performers though. 1.5 KD, 3.8k average damage per game. And he is mostly playing either damage dealer or inspire medium, so he is supposed to be one of those people putting out the damage.
He's also very good at those lightings as well, Nepal. Community prediction, 94% for W. However, we saw in the cashback match that, you know, community predictions, only gotta trust them until some point.
Absolutely. Kirillo, I mean, they have not looked too sharp so far, but maybe they've just been holding back. I mean, I had high hopes for them, actually, judging by the way that they relegated into OLS. That looked pretty clean. But since then, I don't know, training maybe been subpar, as we do see the map pick and bans. Pilsen Westfield getting taken out. We're going to start on Cliff, picked by Kirillo, into Ensk. So 2 pretty small maps, actually.
It's indeed. Very close quarter combat coming out. Cliff is first, Ensk is second. It's going to be a fast matchup here, and I think that favors W though. That quick and aggressive pace, high chaos, and potentially some cooking from Frugo.
Well, some cooking maybe coming in. We'll have to see. So far, not a whole lot of that that we have seen so far, but maybe he's just keeping the strat book closed until the later stages.
This could be a thing as well, but you never know what happens in the mid-season break, though, Kihan, so you don't really want to keep too much away, because you never know that there's a meta shakeup.
Let's see how both of those teams are going to do. I think overall we are going to see a Kirillo that are really struggling so far, trying to put those points on the board, and probably an angry W, most of all angry at themselves for what they've not been able to achieve in the past of the season. So maybe coming out swinging here, maybe coming out cooking. We haven't seen any really out there strats from the teams yet. Maybe this is a match where W wants to start doing just that. Predictions, baby, going with a brutal 3-0, and I think you, Phil, and myself, all of us, kind of shaken a bit by W's performance that they've shown so far. So consolation point over towards Kirillo.
I just believe that they will pick up 1 round. You know, today I'm on point with my predictions, so I got a feeling.
At least so far you've been on point.
Yeah? So far. I mean, I got the team wrong in the first one though, but it was close.
You know who's not been on points so far? Kirillo. Let's see if that changes as we are going into the first game of match number 3 of Playday 4. It's going to be Kirillo against not Cashback, W. And here we see, I think, straightforward pretty much from W. Double BZ75, triple E50M, 140, and interestingly enough, we don't see the light tank that often, but Clerf selects to play the RHM.
Kirillo in return, more straightforward, quad BZ, CS63, E50M, object 140. Clerf will hit a big plane in the beginning though. Cliff is a very straightforward map when it comes to planes. Usually you plane up, and unless they have quick mediums to dodge, you're guaranteed to hit those BZs if they're going up.
And that is exactly where the BZs are going to go. 4 of them end up getting spotted here. So that means replane for Clerf as well. Good job for him. And we see a reaction by W. They're sending the triple E50M towards the 1 and 2 line. So an adjustment coming out. They're going to hit that BZ, possibly even in his back. Let's see if the CS is able to tuck into the corner, but obviously against the RHM that can plane him, it's a problem, but not if the RHM dies on the cross. Clerf does make it through. The rep kit has been burned for the time being.
Manera will have to drop
some damage, and now Manera in a big pickle as he sees triple E50M. That is a lot of DPM.
For some reason, Manera not opting to go for the drop, actually, which would be dropping off and then bailing through the G-line. He actually opts to try and run away, and that is a mistake. We can see that it was a mistake as well, because he fully dives for it, now forcing Kirillo in a desperate repush across the open in towards these setup E50Ms. Loop does get towards the strike, but Templeton in the middle of the map will get pressured in return by 2 tanks. Frugo crossing over in that BZ75. Where's the follow-up? Loop will get repushed by these E50Ms as well. Frugo down towards a one-shot. Beast looking for the finish. Beast the finish as well, and here comes the DPM. However, Frugo, the commander-in-chief, is coming in to take all the damage for his team, and now Loop falling, Flash in the middle, not having a good time either in that object 140. And yeah, it looked a little funny that Frugo went down by himself, but he does enable his E50Ms to keep all of their HP.
And those E50Ms are now going to be dealing out the punishment. You can see Milo, the next focus here. IO's pretty low, so maybe Milo will be able to pick him up, but he's going to pay for it with his life as Beast from the sidelines also falling in the E50M of his own. IO's, though, getting picked up, but still W with the tank advantage, with the DPM advantage across the team as well. Yes, the RHM has fallen for W, but at this point in time, they don't really need it. What they would have needed, though, would have been Squeezy. The Inspire medium is gone, and W now pushed into the repush from the donut that we've seen time and time again is so costly. Itox now also taking a big one. Flash, though, dropping to a one-shot, needs to be careful, wants to provide the Inspire for his team. Templeton is in between all of them, but he is so healthy that they do not care.
It's good, looking to be okay though, as Flash does fall. Darks will actually make it behind the corner as well. I think Dopa Deepa and Templeton are not able to finish Darks off, and for a second there started looking real scary. If they got Darks out of the fight, if he was to die, then who knows, but they weren't able to do that, and W will still win this round. Good adjustment from them. I do believe indeed they could keep Frugo alive as well for this kind of play. But the real problem there for Kirillo is, you know, Manera trying to run away over the 2 line and back into the 50Ms. I think his only option is to drop over the G2, G3 cliff, go down, and then come back in from there.
Towards the outside, yeah. Although we have to keep in mind he didn't have full information because his team didn't bring a plane. So maybe he was thinking, W could have, I don't know, a gorilla or something posted at A5 already, so he couldn't make the jump. But yeah, the way that he chose was, of course, very unfortunate because he ended up dying without really achieving a whole lot. So good, I mean... Well, was it really a good round for W, though? It felt like there were some misplays on their team as well, but, you know, if you keep your E50Ms alive throughout the whole match, then it doesn't end up mattering. Between the two of them, Nepal and Tarksic end up having 11,500 damage, 3 kills as well. So overall, W maybe a little bit shaky here at the end, but they do manage to complete the first round nonetheless. This is going to mean they are a third of the way there to getting 3 more points.
I mean, the initial adjustment from W was very good, you know, pushing back across with the right amount to repressure 1-2 line. That was beautiful. So getting that out is very good. Just the right amount. I still believe that Carrillo could have done a bit better against this, but you know, I think they realized that themselves as well.
Sides are going to get switched though. Not that it matters too much on Cliff, but Carrillo still in the game, and if anything, I think this first round here has proven that W can make mistakes against them. It's just that you cannot throw a tank before that, and I think that's a pretty easy adjustment to make, so let's see if Carrillo will be able to do it. Once again, I think it is worth noting that from W, there wasn't really any grand cooking going on here. This was fairly straightforward, but maybe after the first 3 playdays they decided that, hey, against Carrillo, a team that we are vastly favored against, let's just play box standard, because we have the confidence that at the end of the day, when all is said and done, we are the better players.
I mean, sometimes some solid world tanks is all you need, no?
Yeah.
No, nothing, no fancy schmancy, just straight up, good reactions, good plays, get the team involved, and just win out on that quick reaction. And they did exactly that. Comes off the back of a good play in as well. However, you know, this round 2 repush that they did, Key, is also dangerous, because there is a world in which there's a Forge B 1-2 line. There's a world in which there's double Forge B 1-2 line. If there is something else like CSC 50, there's also a world in which the CS doesn't push across and is able to run away, and then you're just taking some free damage and you have an RHM on the hill, they're repushing with their full team across. For this scenario, it was great, right? But if 1 or 2 things are different, it could be amazing for Carrillo.
Carrillo, though, so far, still no rounds in OLS Season 4. And I think that can be at some point, or it can become a mental barrier as well. Where it's like, maybe you're even close to winning a round, but then you're like, oh, it would be the first round, let's go, and you get excited. And that is where you start making the mistakes. So let's see if this comes into play here in the second round on Cliff. And the lineups start revealing something. Carrillo currently still with the 183 selected. It's newly playable in Onslaught now. Loop, unfortunately for us, switches away from it. W, though, that is extremely straightforward. That is extremely brawly. Quintuple BZ75, 140, and an RHM.
Carrillo in return, 4 BZs of their own, an E50, a 140, and a Bliskavice. So again, not opting to play that light, where W needs to get a lot of information from the beginning from Clorf, and then needs him to survive as well.
Both teams also respecting that currently the 140 has become very powerful. It is that tank that can continuously improve the atrocious DPM of the BZ75s and provide some DPM of its own. The plane, though, very good from Clorf. He sees everyone but the 140. Flash was able to dodge by driving towards the 1-2 line. For W, it is fairly straightforward, though. Everyone towards the middle.
Yeah. And, you know, Clorf saw a lot again with the plane, so they're going to go for the brawl probably. They know that there's 6 in the middle. They're going to have 7. Clorf goes up. The 140 currently on 1-2 line as well, and that's an important note because Flash will not have an Inspire, but it looks like he is heading into 1-2 line maybe at some point as well. Tark's going for the top ram though, and he will make it there. Now the 140 will commit into 1-2 line, but Tark's onto the top ramp, and Tark's very isolated. Tarks takes a shot from the Bliskavice. The BZ now repushing the hill. Templeton switching into position, and Tark's being bullied down. Frugo trying to press forward, but he's pushing forward into more guns. Dopa in that Bliskavice finding some shots as well, and the 50M from behind is currently raining in some good shots. Nepal taking damage from the middle as well. That's Milo and Beast, and currently these angles are not working for W whatsoever, and the 140 has arrived. Pops the Inspire as well. Templeton needs to survive here, so W did wrestle control of that top ramp area, but in return they lost a lot of HP, and now the 140 decided to take the strike, and Dopa goes down towards the one shot, but the Bliskavice, it hurts when you peek it because it does a lot in return.
In the meanwhile, on the hill, Lip has made it up, so he should be able to maybe contest what's happening there. Frugo taking a shot in the middle of the map on the ramp is a possible one-shot here for a lot of tanks as well. The Bluskewitz are not the last one of those. A shot missing Milo Frugo, though, with a good one. Quick one to tap on towards Milo, who has to activate the heal without anyone close. But the 140 of Flash is a menace from the sidelines. The strike coming down, but Frugo even dies before it. Ayost ending up driving into it, so as of right now the HP pretty even, but the kills even as well though.
Yeah, and there was a lot of HP loss here for Kirillo all of a sudden. They were up about 3,000, they end up losing a lot. Not exactly sure what ended up happening. Templeton's getting repushed. He did use the strike already, he spots out Squeezy, he misses that one as well. So now 2 dead for the side of Kirillo, and now Loop and Beast aggroing this hill. They know that Klurf is only with Nepal. They can't really hold off this onslaught of tanks coming their way, but Nepal does heal to 1.5. It doesn't really change anything in the rolls Flash, but actually even finish, he does come in and finish it, and W in return, pressuring the middle now, on towards that last remaining tank from Kirillo. It's Manera in the 50M, and his HP bar is dropping rather quickly as he's surrounded by the entirety from W, but Beast finding a kill before Manera goes down. Manera tracking Tarks, who's still reloading, but he does get a lot further, doesn't find the recheck. Tarks, does he find the shot? Does Manera get safe? It does look like Manera just about gets around the corner. Squeezy will need to pick it up, but that's damage dealt. Squeezy even getting tracked, now coming down, does find the kill, but that was oh so very, very costly.
Still, it is cost that W maybe can afford. They're down in the HP department, but they're up in tanks. None of them currently on a one-shot. Flash is picking up the strike, however, and that means that they can reset at any point in time. Loop still very healthy, lauding from the top of the hill. The RHM even getting spotted off Klurf. He needs to be careful with doing that. 16 seconds remaining, so Loop, knowing that the RHM is on the north side, is going to readjust to the southern part of the hill here. He does spot out Itox and Tarksik as well getting spotted. That's going to be a big one. Another 800 damage going down. Squeezy also caught in the middle. That damage onto Loop, it means absolutely nothing for him right now because Loop is oh so healthy.
And the return though, Flash taking some damage, needs to get out of there before Tarks reloads. There's a shot coming in from the 140 of Squeezy, so Flash makes it a little bit closer. Good shot from Loop, but it gives Itox an opportunity to peek as well. They're pushing forward now. Can Itox find the shot? No, the wreck from one of the players in the way, and Klurf now coming yet again behind this BZ. That's the second time around. Now Beast will need to start playing as well. The heals are coming in once more. They're keeping those BZs just about above one-shot range. The plane misses Loop though. That was really on the edge there, so Loop ends up getting a bit lucky with that. Beast now coming in as well. Coming in from the top, Flash peeking from the other corner, Beast chasing Squeezy, can he find it? Loop now looking for Itox, Itox survives on 6 HP, Beast spotting out Squeezy, Darks might look for the finish here, Beast is turning his third, Loop is pushing forward, and can they do something? Squeezy down towards the one-shot, Loop wants to ram, Darks, no, it is going to connect just before he goes down, Beast finding a ram as well, so 2 ram kills in quick succession, and now it's Beast and Flash versus Itox and Klurf with the plane, with the possibility as well, because Beast is 320 HP. He will probably try to peek him here because they know that Flash will be taking the strike, but no, Flash actually dodging the strike altogether. Doesn't end up going for it.
Well, they see Flash now. That is the power of the RHM, and the 50-50 goes his way. Rolls exactly average. Flash in the 1 versus 2 situation. Oh my god, Flash with the HE preload is on 630, but Itox to finish it off in a crazily close round, but W managed to hold on.
Yeah, that was close, to say the least. That was definitely close. Yeah, that was Kirillo's opportunity there to put a point on the board.
That was absolutely Kirillo's opportunity, and if some of those rolls don't go their way, then W end up splitting Cliff here. But like this, kind of the lucky winners, a lucky 2-0 scoreline, and man, Kirillo, they were oh so close. Some of those small shots just not going their way, but at the, like, on the flip side of the coin also, Manera surviving for longer than he should. This was an extremely messy game, but kudos to Flash also for preloading the HE on towards the RHM.
Yeah, and he even shot before Itox. There is an opportunity there. He would kill him on the move. He needs things to go his way, though, but they don't end up going that way, and it ends up being W to actually pick it up with the absolute minimum amount of HP required. You know, 1 shot left on their team. But for Carrillo, they had such a strong start. There was this mid-game where all of a sudden, you know, they were 3,000 up, and you look back and it's even. And you're wondering what happened.
Yeah, it is, I think, just the players of W over time finding more damage with every single peak. But that must feel like almost a heartbreak for Carrillo. This second round of Cliff, it doesn't get closer than this one. But W edge out ahead here and now find themselves on match point on their own map pick as well of Ensk.
Yeah, moving on to Ensk, and if they win this 3-0, nobody will remember how close the cliff was. They will just remember that it was 3-0. That's the way it goes. Even if you win in tiebreaker, the only people that remember that at the long is the people that were in the match. You know, like everybody else will just remember W1.
And they've put themselves into prime position for that, to be honest. I mean, it doesn't really matter how it happened, but the scoreline now is 2-0. And W picking Ensk should indicate that they are very, very comfortable on it. It obviously is played quite differently as well from a map like Cliff, where you immediately lock yourself into what you play just by the fact of how you're splitting upside versus downside. On Ensk, I think there is the possibility for some later rotations, although the map still is quite small as well, because it's not the region, it is just the small city of Ensk.
Do we think 3-0 is the name of the game after all?
I think Carrillo are in a super tough spot mentally at the moment. Like, imagine you lose such a round and then you have to immediately play again. That's never easy. W, though, I think returning to standard gameplay once again. Triple BZ, 1 Type 5, the 140, and W4.
Carrillo in return, BZ, Type 5, 140, double first speed, double E4. If I had to pick a lineup, this double first B is looking scary.
Especially since W don't really have any tanks that do well against the Force Bs. Now they do go on towards 1 Force B, however. But those BZs, it feels like they really get eaten up by the Force Bs if it comes to close combat situations. Carrillo, I think, also with the E4s, they do have a good way to deal with the BZs, because I feel like overall the E4 is in close quarters situations kind of the better tank. Like, yeah, the BZ can boost around, but the E4 mitigates the damage. It's not an auto pen frontally, as W opts to open up over the green squeezy immediately. It does a shot of damage and takes the strike as well, so good job for him. That's going to almost put him at the second stage of the Inspire.
So now W pushing on this field side. They're continuing the push as well. Squeezy will take the information tower, but I don't know if you can keep going with the BZs in the south. It's going to be very difficult to make this push happen for W if they actually want to commit to this.
They would be pincering Beast in the Type 5 Heavy, because you can also see Itox and Frogo currently driving over the cap, announcing their presence by stopping the cap. So Carrillo is unaware of how many tanks are there currently, but Templeton trying to repush with the E4 as Clerv boosts over, takes a shot of damage for it though, takes another big one here, that really trying to pincer the tanks that Carrillo have in the middle of the map, and that is a lot of damage onto Manera, who's down towards 900. Clerv, retaliation coming through, the strike going down as well, but I think the first kill has not been done yet by anyone, so they're desperately trying to get them out. Clerv here down and out, but immediate response onto Manera.
Manera down, Clerv down as well, but now the continuous fight here going on. Flash chasing down Nepal, who's continuing to use the boosters to his advantage, trying to get his way as far as possible. Flash will find it though, but it will cost him, and he's on fire! That puts him into one-shot range. That's a big fire as well. It doesn't look like Flash has a fire crew available in any sort of way. That burns him for more than expected. He's only now able to put it out. That stuff, don't think he has a train on his crew either. Doesn't expect it. Dopa is starting to clip out on towards Frigo in return though. Carrillo is down in HP, but they have that extra gun, and don't forget that the Type 5 Heavy of Itox is currently being ignored. Does that mean he does a lot of damage? We'll have to see. Squeezy finds Beast. Frugo goes down, and now it's 5-on-4 once more, but look at Dopa in that Forge B. I don't think he's escaping the big old Type 5 as Itox is now running rampage in the midst of them, in the thick of it. But Templeton and Loop want to retaliate on towards Squeezy. They'll put him into one-shot range. They will have a strike available at some point, but Squeezy smartly playing around that building in that Object 140 extends his life. The strike comes in. Now he's the one-shot, but Loop already let a shot go against Ios. And Loop trying to block here, but he has 3 targets converging his way, of which one is a Type 5 Heavy, which does not struggle normally to find the kill. But now in return, Itox does miss the shot, but still, Ios about to come off reload. Loop on 600 HP. Ios missing as well, and all of a sudden, we're starting to get a little bit worried here. Squeezy is a potential 2-shot, and he does end up falling. That's HE from Milo. Flash now in the thick of it as well, but they're all 1-shots, 3v2, and Flash missing his first shot, trying to stay alive, trying to back away. Itox about to come off reload. Can Flash survive in the 140? He will make it, so Itox will pick off the E4 instead, while there's a 1v1 going on between Loop and Ios. Ios about to come off reload. He surely does not miss this once more. He doesn't roll it, and it's Loop to put it down, and Kirillo, against all odds, if the last round was on the minimal HP, this one's on critical HP, end up picking it up.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, we're in the replay section right now, but hopefully we'll be back soon, because that was an absolutely crazy... Ah, there we go.
Production, even production so confused there. They're just smashing the buttons, like...
Yeah, but absolutely crazy. I think the last 2 rounds here in between those 2 teams, it couldn't have been closer, and I'm very happy to see that not only have Kirillo broken their own curse, they finally pick up around in the AMD OLS Season 4. Even I'm getting confused now with all of this happening. But yeah, absolute bangers, but problems for W.
Can we talk about Flash? Can we talk about Flash not training fire on his crew? I know that there's like a lot of skills you want to pick, but he burned for so much. He burned for an additional like 800 HP off of that.
I think he took the shot by the BZ. That's like 650 alpha, but when he ended up, you know, when he stopped burning, it was like minus 1500 plus. So that was a heck of a lot of damage that Flash took just there. But it didn't really, you know,
the misses
stop him
though
from doing a lot of damage.
The misses. Itox into Ios. Itox missing first. Ios missing second. Both of them missing enough to be the difference maker there and end up losing the game in return.
Yes, yes, and so now the problem that you know, Kirillo had last round, where they just lost an absolute clutch with possibly even themselves to blame. I think now W with the same thing, right? They just lost a clutch round with, I think, themselves to blame as well. But the next round is upon us. It is still W's map pick of Ensk.
Let's say the universe just like equalized after that cliff battle. You know, they were like, well, the
world is healing.
Yeah, yeah. It needs to be. We need to throw a quick fix in.
Overall, though, this clutch win here by W so far in the match, it doesn't really change a whole lot, because W still is on match point. It still takes only one more round for them to make us forget whatever happened here on Cliff 2 and Ensk 1, because it would mean at the end of the day that W go home with 3 points and Kirillo go home with 0. It's good for them that they picked up the 1 round because that puts them on par again with Vortex, but at the end of phase 1, 2 teams are getting eliminated, not 1. So what they truly need is points. It's like people in the Cloud Wars campaign, they want to be put into the team.
And end up getting kicked from the clan. In return, second round of ends, Kirillo 44s, Force B, an Object 140 and a Type 5 Heavy.
And for W, we see the Mighty Mouse together with a 140, a 430U, so a lot of DPM coming in there, together with 4 E4s as well. Looking at the lineups, I actually think I prefer Kirillo's.
I think both have their strengths, but yeah, it's let's see how it plays out. I don't like the mouse that much anymore, personally, when the type exists.
No. I mean, now that the better mouse exists, that's called Taschenratte. I mean, yeah, mouse has fallen off, truly. Let's see, opening-wise, though, a lot of tanks spotted here on the city side as Nepal responds upon taking damage, putting one into loop as well. Templeton also taking a shot, taking a blind one. That's a big one, too, because I think the ability had just run out.
In return, info tower being taken. Some more damage being received on Templeton as well, down towards 1.2. They're now taking the info tower. And B's taking a triple to the face as well, minus 2.1. So far, W initially heavily outtrading Kirillo.
Yeah, it looks like compared to last round, W have finally turned on their monitors and they're able to dish out the punishment. Templeton finally able to fix his Amarak as well. Dopa getting spotted out by Nepal. That's a crazy angle to hold as well, but Nepal missing the shot. That's a rare occurrence that we see Nepal missing, as Klurf is like, alright, a Foch B, that's a lot of distance, and that is a lot of damage! Peeks in towards those E4s, down to a one-shot immediately, and Klurf has the Alpha to finish this off. If Dopa doesn't make it around the corner, seems like he manages to get safe, but that was painful to watch.
Even that little heal is not going to push him past the 750 boundary that he needs at this point to survive. He's on 667 HP, and the cap has been started for W, and as well as Kirillo did in the last 2 rounds, this one looking real tough.
This one's looking kind of impossible at this point in time, even though no tanks have gone down so far. Frugo taking a shot by one of the E4s on the enemy team as Manera gets retaliated upon. But yeah, Kirillo have a tank in the cap now as well. They're able to stop this cap pressure coming out from the mouse as Dopa tries to somehow make a peek, but Klurf is absolutely ready. He loves that position around the southwest of Ensk and is able to find the 1v1, to find the kill, putting W up in this game.
Yeah, W up a gun, up 7,000 HP, as close as the last 2 rounds were, right? As entertaining as they were, it seems that Kirillo has run out of necessary steam to keep this locomotive running, and now are running against the fully pumped up W train, who started off with a very strong outtrade and then continued this throughout the rest of this Ensk match. And they may have been a little angry about how the Ensk have finished and decide to quickly restore order in the Empire by taking down Kirillo on the last round of Ensk and making it 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think... Yeah, 3-1, but I think overall I'm still a little bit concerned that W seemingly was struggling so much with Kirillo, but in this last round here, I think that is the statement that maybe they needed and wanted to make at the end of the game. This one was never in question, a steamroll from start to finish, but only this round, right? There were 2 rounds where I think eyebrows and probably hairlines were raised as well.
It's just a tough match, the last one for Kirillo. Just getting out-traded from the beginning, then again, and the only thing that's tougher than this is when I look at Moff's predictions for today. That's the only thing that could hurt more, to be honest. Between that last Ensk round and being Moff right now, I'd honestly pick the last Ensk round. So far you predicted 3-0 for Cashback, 3-0 for Mafia, and 3-0 for W.
Well, I think the chatbot writing the script, it just ran out of 3-0s, right? And that is where we're currently at. But yeah, Loop 666, the number of the beast, but unable to carry his team because, like, honestly, they would have needed 1 or even 2 additional players to even stand a chance in this one. The rounds before, oh so close, and the RNGesus of World of Tanks, they're blessing them with the with the first ends, but W in this 4th round of the match. I think just, you know, kicking it into overdrive. They were like, let's not go to tiebreaker, boys. Let's take the 3 points, and that's it.
Yeah, what an amazing spectacle between these two. But I said it last match, I'll say it again. We still have the highlight of the day coming up. It's going to be Hit and Run against Weekend for the #1 position in the AMD Onslaught Legends Series Season 4, right after the replays.
Frau Enkel, allow me to introduce you to the culmination of our engineering, Götterfaust.
Beautiful. I want to see it kill.
Fine. Watch. Control, this is Blastwitz. I've got their toy.
William, be careful. More tanks incoming.
You build it, I break it. They want a monster? Let's give them a nightmare.
That was just one battle. If you want to keep that tank, you'll have to fight through the rest.
Welcome back to the last and final match of the day. And while the past one and the one before that were bangers, I think it's fair to say that we have kept possibly the best, hopefully, for last. As Hit and Weekend, current places 1 and 2 on the leaderboard, are going to fight it out. And whether this one is going to tiebreaker or not, I'm not even sure. If Weekend can take it with a tiebreaker win, but with a clean one, definitely looking to dethrone Hit.
They've had a fantastic run so far, beating Cashback as well. But Hit will be an even bigger test demo than Cashback, because we saw Cashback lose against Yogurt as well. So, you know, anything can happen there. But this hit and run team, usually very, very good at dealing with these newer teams in general.
And I think that is down to the crazy amount of experience that you see between those players in their lineup. Weekend, no slouches though. A lot of their players have made appearances in other teams, and in this one before here, they're here for a reason, and so far their performance the best one out of all the new teams, although that isn't exactly the hardest thing to pull off currently.
No, for sure not. So between these two, Weekend has shown that they're a very good team. They were playing very well as well, which means that the community prediction is a little bit more balanced while still favoring Hit and Run. I think that's more realistic between these two. 30% for Weekend, and they have shown that they're a good team, so I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think 30-70, which this basically is about fair. Maybe even a little bit on the low side for Hit, because I think Hit so far has been playing absolutely picture perfect. When I saw the second playday and their match against W, where they ended up kind of rolling W with the 3-0, I was like, oh my god, Hit are the guys to watch out for this season. And they were able to reconfirm that on the last playday. Now we see two players here being matched up against each other. Win rates 100% for Franek, but that is going to be the same, I think, for every player on the team of Hit, because so far they've had 9 rounds and 9 wins. You can see the KDs as well, 17.0 against 15.0. I think at least for one of those players, that one's going to go down.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure one of the two will end up with a lot less, but they've both been playing amazing. Franek is always doing very, very solid amounts of damage, getting good shots out, consistent as well. Maybe not the highlight damage you see, but across the board he's always performing. But he's also expected to perform by playing those 140s, of course.
Now, maps that are going to be played, Cliff and Moravanka taken out, and Hit is going to pick up the map that W almost, or ended up dropping at least one round against Kirillo here. It's going to be Ensk to start it off, then Weekend selecting Ghost Town, and if it goes the distance, then we are going to end on still the new map in the pool, Siegfried Line.
So very quick games on Ensk, potential quick games on Ghost Town, but Ensk is going to be interesting to see because Weekend was playing on it very, very well. They had this crazy round against Cashback as well to bring it across the board, so excited to see how they match up against Hit and Run.
The match now is the one to watch out for, though, as we said. It is the first against the second. Hit leading by 1 point currently, if memory doesn't deceive me, but Weekend not far behind, obviously. Both teams, I think, with an extremely strong start into the season, and both teams wanting to confirm this as well. But as always, there can only be one victor, and maybe they can lay the groundwork for this in this first round of Ensk.
It would be good for Weekend to start it off strong, right? If they could do that, we would already be very, very happy. But let's not speak too soon. You know, this could also be a hit and run roller coaster. If there's any team I consider able to roll this Weekend team 3-0, it's still hit and run.
I mean, Hit and Run historically is one of those teams that when they pick up steam, they just don't stop rolling. Although Weekend, I think they've demonstrated that they're a force to be reckoned with. Let's check in this first game here on Ensk how it's going to go. Hit and Run, I think that is the final lineup already. Double BZ, 1 Type 5, a Foch B being played by Barbarian, and triple E4.
In return, Weekend with a triple BZ, a Type 5 Heavy, an Object 140, and double E4. So again, going and opting for those BZs, but Hit and Run has their own as well. If you look at the Hit and Run lineup, maybe potentially a bit more tanky with that Foch B and E4.
Yeah, I think there is not a single tank on the Hit and Run lineup that is not either tanky by itself or healthy by itself, or both in the case of the Type 5. So Weekend has their work cut out for them. Monster is going to boost towards the green side, but maybe that is not what he wants to do, as Weekend are sending a lot of forces there. Meanwhile, Hit are fairly split. They have those E4 aiming down the rails, but they're not finding any targets at all. Monster even selecting and opting to boost further. He is behind the house, kind of safe. Crossfire into Sunshine, minus 1200.
Initial damage on towards the position. Sunshine pays for it, but can he take the strike at the very least? That's a different question. It does seem like he's capable of doing it right now, but Hit and Run have a pretty good chokehold on the map as it is.
Yeah, those E4s that are aiming down the rails, they would be able to punish anything by Weekend that tries to make rotations. As we see, the cap is already down towards 20 seconds. Obviously, Sunshine was able to pick up the strike, but Clownzik not with the best of trades, as he ends up putting one into DJ. More retaliation coming through, so now Panfury getting rotated towards the front, but we need to see the strike reset. It's only going to come into T-Sec, but as Ketsai took an HE, this means both tanks are completely reset, but the strikes have been spent, and now those E4s are going to be the ones to watch out for Hit and Run, because they are going to cover T-Sec and Ketsai that are capping.
But in return, actually, it's Weekend starting to get ahead slightly in the HP department. They're paying a little bit now for this crossing yet again, but they've been getting really, really good shots in T-Sec's position on the outside. If somebody was to cross over the K-line, I don't think anybody can right now without being spotted though. They will completely hammer down on towards these positions. I said now coming in with the BZ is actually going to be blocking as well, boosting, holding on until the strike will be coming off of cooldown. And so far, Weekend hold off this initial aggression by Hit and Run.
DJ in the E4 has been split off, though. He is going to take an artillery strike, and Ketsai, who we saw take some HE splash earlier, was full HP again. Don't think he's going to be returning to that, though, as he takes 1200 to the face. That was not the peak that he wanted to make. There seems to be an angle below the rail cards on towards Iset, but Franek just missed it, and Iset kind of perma-spotted at this point in time. I guess that can happen if the rail cards do get destroyed. T-Sec looking for the angle as well, and he gets it. Shot into Iset.
Yeah, Iset will probably stop blocking now. But again, Hit and Run still has a lot of map control. Nonetheless, DJ now pushed up with that strike in hand on towards the south. Ketsai looking, but because of those wagons, that secondary rail is really making it hard for him to shoot that one effectively. You would need to be on the lower end of tanks, something that's like very, very low to the ground, because finds it in between. Though you see that there's like a small gap between the wagons. Yeah.
I think the Hit players have probably spent extensive time finding out in training rooms where exactly the gaps are in those cards, and I said right now paying dearly for trying to block the cap here, down to 835. That is 2 shots from high alpha guns, or not even so high alpha guns. The cap down to 20 seconds, but a strike that Sunshine had collected earlier does come in to save them. But I think Weekend recognize that they cannot keep it up here. They're sending a lot of tanks towards the green side. Monster starting to pay dearly for this as well, down to 2k HP. He does have backup though, Barbarian behind him with the Foch B, and this is prompting hit and run into this repush in the south part of the map. Monster completely isolated here, getting taken out by a lot of tanks. Kano also with a lot of DPM to support. Monster is not going to be able to sustain.
Sunshine actually finds the first kill, as I said, finds the second in that BZ75, finding DJ, and it's going to be pretty good here for Weekend. They find one, they find two, they pull the trigger on that field, and yeah, Barbarian with the Foch B has 6 shells, and I think he did most of them, but Weekend really showing that they are a capable ends team. Good rotations, coming back across the map and shutting down hit and run in round number 1 on Ensk, and that is exactly what they need. Immediately putting down their foot next to hit and run and show that they've come to play, and in what a fashion as well, looking to keep all 7, make that 6 of the remaining 7 alive.
Yeah, Barbarian, he was in A0 for most of the game, but I think the angles of approach that Weekend chose here were exactly designed to counter a TD in this position, and this is why he maybe has a lot of damage at the end of the day, but wasn't able to have the biggest of impacts. Weekend, the team current place 2 in the OLS, are going to get the first point on the board against the team in the current lead.
Really solid stuff from Weekend. Just very good rotations coming out. It looked like Hit and Run had a pretty good chokehold on the map in the beginning, but then Weekend rotated back south. They started finding those angles as well. I said block the cap for a while. Ketsai was looking for the guy close, ended up finding him by destroying the wagons, but also paid a lot of HP for that though.
I mean, it works both ways, right? If
there goes Franek, KSD, ruined.
Ruined. Yeah, maybe from 17 he's now down to, 8.5. Tragic. But yeah, it works both ways, right? If you destroy the wagons to spot the enemy, you'll be able to spot them, but they will be able to see you as well, and that is when you are opening yourself up to the possibility of a lot of punishment, which Ketsai this round definitely took. He healed back some as well, but it wasn't enough, and that was actually a very clear round win, 7-1 in tanks. So Weekend opening up on Hit's map pick very, very well. Then again, I think if there is one team that sometimes loses their map picks but wins the opponents, it is also Hit.
For sure. And, the first round doesn't say everything just yet, but it does show that Weekend is just very, very solid. And, if they keep this up, they're definitely contending for that top 4. Nah. That's not right. That's not right. That's not right. That's wrong. That's not right.
I am very afraid that the predictions were set in stone before it, and Phil is probably smart.
No, Baby had 3-0. That's why.
Baby had 3. Maybe he switched it before the match. Maybe he was a sneaky weasel like that.
He's got 4 wrong predictions today, so at least he's consistent.
Consistently bad.
Yeah, Phil expecting a 3-2, so he's expecting a close match. We all expect a 3-1. This is going to be tough for us to get it right, though, because we need Hit to win the next 3.
Let's see. I think Hit is also one of those teams, not only when it comes to tournaments, but to matches as well, where they come in and they, first of all, have to warm up. I'm sniffing a bit of copium right now, but maybe that's how it will go. Let's see, though, because, Weekend, they come into OLS, they win their first 3 matches. Arguably, they should have even won them cleanly. Like, there was a little bit of a throw, but if you're not as experienced as the big boys on the block, then sometimes, of course, that can happen. But what we've seen from them so far, mostly stellar.
It is very, very solid. I wonder if they can continue this. Imagine the upside if they beat Hit and Run 3-0.
That would be...
we're far away from
crazy.
it, but...
And imagine Baby then gets his prediction wrong because he switched it. Now I actually want Weekend to 1-3-0. Never mind though, maybe Hit and Run are going to have a say in the matter. BZ75, triple Type 5, a 140 and double E4. Triple E4 now.
Triple E4, 140 and triple BZ from Weekend. So minor differences, mobility versus that extra meat from the Type 5s.
And I think the BZs as well, they have this problem against the Type 5s that not only do they need to flank to really be able to reliably pen their shots because the heat pen is not the best, by doing this they actually open themselves up for those HE pens. Never mind that though, Weekend, a lot of the players spotted here going on the field, and this is making Hit hesitate as Kano with a good first shot. That means he immediately has the Inspire available. Evilok though, not with the best trades, and Sunshine is going to maybe be able to start taking the artillery strike.
Yeah, Evil in that E4 taking about half his HP in damage, but here comes Hit and Run. They look like they want to repressure this almost, or at least make some peaks from these positions, as DJ, T-Sec and others are peeking out from those angles, trying to get those connections, and Sunshine currently looks in a position where he can get peeked from numerous angles. It's not looking like he can be fully safe from everybody.
Yeah, I think the problem for him right now is Franek, because he's holding the off angle. He needs someone to suppress that 140, but of course Franek has the bush to play with. But I think Hit and Run are starting to think that they cannot really contest this. This is why they're starting to rotate back. However, Kano on the offside, very mobile with that 140, is starting to take the artillery strike, and this means that currently Hit and Run have not really picked up any of those neutral objectives. Kano is probably going to transition in towards the info tower as well, which means that Hit are going to be playing without some of the information that they would likely want to have, as Kano sees the E4, takes the hit, wanting to stick it. No, never mind. He's going to start moving away. Doesn't want to risk it, as T-Sec gets spotted on the cross, takes a big one for doing that too, and I think Kano realizes it's time to run.
Flash Panda is actually starting to pressure up Zero Line, and this is the reaction from this Weekend lineup, pressuring the Zero Line. The strike coming out as well. They will need to kill this 140 if they want to make this work. Trash Panda already missing on the first. Clownzik now coming in, that's the second strike as well. They're focusing everything on towards this 140, and now Hit and Run will try to stop this, will try to do the damage back on towards those tanks from Zero Line. Is Franek gonna die first? The Inspire, it's a crucial tank. We've seen it time and time again, how much it can add to a battle. Sunshine not finding the shots. It has to be Clownzik and Trash Panda to do it. Trash Panda's Amarak though, so right now Franek surviving on a sliver of health as Clownzik tries to shield Trash Panda. It's not happening. The HP yet still even though. Clownzik needs to remove this Inspire. He does get it. T-Sec will reinforce the position though, but the Inspire is lost, and that is important because Kano in the meantime is continuing with his Inspire, farming away at Ketsai as well. Sunshine boosting back in his BZ75 to help this 140 against this. Ketsai will give the shot even towards the BZ75, keeping that 140 all the more healthy as Kano is on fire. That's the second 140 we see on fire today. He's still taking a little bit. Sunshine gets the finish. The Inspire comes back in, and currently 5-on-4. Make that a 4-on-4, but HP lead for Weekend.
HP lead for Weekend, and as you said it, the 140 is still up and available. Big shot into Evil though, coming out from Monster in towards that E4 that I don't think it was even mitigating it, but retaliation coming through. DJ and Barbarian taking one each. Hellrap and I said currently on cooldown, and once again it's going to be Kano with that 140 to be the wild card. He does take a shot of damage as Weekend managed to remove one more tank from the lineup of Hit and Run. 4 versus 3 situation. I said extremely healthy, good peek into Pan's Fury, who's down on a one shot, and Hit and Run, they're just starting to run out of the HP required and necessary to stay in the battle.
And now 3-on-3. Monster did find a kill, but I said finds Barbarian a 1v1 of the ages. I said probably very happy about that one. And Weekend, unbelievable, win their map pick 2-0. I mean, the 140 ruining his KD is potentially possible, needs to live. Will he find it? He does, stacking it up even a little bit more. We'll have to take a look at how high it peaked, all-time high for the 140 there. But you know, Weekend 2-0, man.
on Hit's map pick. And to be honest, both of those rounds looked very well played, very well thought out. I think Ensk is one of those maps where you're never going to be able to play perfectly as well. At some point, you're going to need to peak angles at which there are, you know, opposing tanks that are pre-aimed. So there you're just going to have to bite the bullet and take the damage. And this in turn means that Weekend here looking like the team of the day to beat, at least so far. Hellrap 10-10-9, not much more to be desired from him. I said 9-9-8 as well. And I mean, Evilog, not the best pen rate here, but overall I think the shooting was still fairly okay. Kano, okay, a little bit of a question mark, but at the end of the day, the fact remains that Kano stayed in the game while Franek did not.
Yeah, that 140 kill is so crucial on Zero Line, right? They basically lose double BZ for it, but he dies. He dies. And in return, the other 140 does only 2.5k damage, but the Inspire, it's going the whole time.
Yeah, and even if it's maybe like not the level 3 Inspired, level 2 is still good, level 1 is okay. And he was providing that throughout the whole battle. The effective DPM of his team is just raised, and for example, if both tanks shoot at the same time, then obviously your team is going to be reloaded first. Ensk, a lot to talk about, but we are not done yet with the match either. Ghost Town, the next one on the cards, and Hit already up against the ropes. But I have said it before and I will say it yet again. If there is a single team that loses their own map and then goes on to smash the opponent on theirs, it is also Hit.
Let's see though, it would be a very big upset if Weekend was to take this 3-0 against Hit and Run. They're currently balling out. Could they do it? Sure, why not? At this point they've shown they are capable. And for the established order, Keyhand, this little Weekend team is going to be a very big danger for the rest of the season by the looks of it.
Yeah, you always have the big four that make it into the finals, but Weekend, at least in this phase 1, I think they have come to shake up the order of things, and by taking the second round here, they have already closed the gap to Hit and Run in the point department. I think currently both of them on 9 points, but Weekend wouldn't mind to take an additional 2 in this coming round here. Match point for Weekend against a team of Hit that so far looked extremely good, but have now lost the first 2 rounds for themselves in the OLS. They are trying to avoid the whitewash with the double IS-7, double Type 5, double E50M, so everyone has a friend except the 140, that is the singular Inspire medium.
We can in return double BZ, double Type, an E50M, a 140 and an RHM. So information advantage will be with Weekend. Can they utilize this?
That remains to be seen. First of all, Weekend needs to figure out that Hit and Run are also playing without a light tank, so it's not like the light tank from the start of the game can simply go and you know, play as if there wasn't an enemy light tank. That is actually the most dangerous thing, because that's when you get caught out and completely die. So balancing this aggressive playstyle with still staying cautious is the balance that the light tank players always need to find. Sunshine on a defensive route currently towards A0 has kept his plane as well, so both teams kind of playing blind here at this point in time.
DJ will take the Western Strike. There is double tank from Weekend going B2 though, very, very deep, but there's 4 tanks there from Hit and Run. However, they will be spotted out by this information tower. DJ will take the strike, but Evil, Hellrap, and Kano in that 140 are going to set up a triangle of doom as the plane will strike on 1-2 line. We have seen games like this, Kihan, and if you can't push 1-2, it's usually not the greatest scenario, because you can slowly get repushed back on towards C1, D1, and then lose all the positions because of this.
Hellrap even pushing up now in the BZ. He is unspotted. He can do this, and then he'll have a bit more map control for himself, together with the 140 and the E50M behind him. Maybe Hellrap even looking for a shot in towards Monster right now, but the march of the elephants over the cap has started. T-Sec and Ketsai with those two Type 5s looking to close the distance as DJ takes a big swing into the side of his IS-7 Sunshine, taking the other information tower as well. And I think Hit and Run understand that they need to start snowballing out this game, whereas Weekend, they need to bring their tanks into the fight. Evilok and Hellrap currently in the middle of nowhere, so they're not able to support Trash Panda and Clownsick, who have started reversing in those Type 5s. Good shot by Trash Panda, but the strike is starting to come in. The E50Ms have come as well. The DPM has arrived.
Now Hit and Run will have to kill both of these almost to make it worth it, because Clownsick is definitely going to get around this corner. Panzer Fury is trying to go as far as possible, but that's a 1-2 combination to the face of that E50M. They're going to continue swinging. They're going to try to go for this BZ, and right now Weekend trying to pull the rest of their team into position. I said is 100% the next focus in that BZ75. Didn't opt to take the strike that was available, decided to go back, and he is going to be the one that gets focused out. But Barbarian in return in no man's land, trying to run down the streets of Ghost Town. The double strike will come out again, but a double punch will come out as well on towards Panzer Fury, who's getting flying from the right hand side as well. Another E50M isolated, and it's not the Type 5s, it's not the IS-7s that are dying, it's the DPM, it's the E50Ms, the tank you want to stay alive, that is falling as first. And look at A8, that Object 140, whenever you're not looking, Kano puts himself into a position to completely dismantle your team, and dismantle is currently what's happening to Hit and Run. They do have still 5, make that 4 guns available, but the HP is so very dire. And Hellrap, good awareness, realizes Barbarian is coming, wants to make the kill against the C50M. Is going to be able to do it? It does look like he might just about do it. No, he ends up missing. Evil doesn't get it either, so they got to be careful. It's 4-on-4. They will lose this C50M as well. They need to close this game out. They have everything in hand, but they still need to bring it to the end.
Kano has arrived now at the scene of the crime, though, with the almost full HP 140, so he's not in any immediate danger of dying. Trash Panda also extremely healthy. It is 7.2 against 2.5k as Sunshine finds the kill on Barbarian, equalizing the guns once again. Monster finds himself in a pickle, in a crossfire to the Object 140, newly buffed Alpha 340. That should be enough for Monster as it is. Monster one more shot from the grave, but now DJ in an unwinnable scenario against the Type 5 manages to Amarak Trash Panda, but very good driving skills from him. He's looking for the overmatch. He gets the side penetration, and Weekend, they complete the upset here. The whitewash, Hit and Run, undefeated before this match, not dropping a single round. Now it is a 3-0, and looking at your face, you have as many question marks in your eyes as I do.
Yeah, well, deserves for Weekend. They just run over Hit and Run 3-0. Even this round, I mean, Hit and Run's trying to make some push, but it's double Type 5 you're trying to kill. There's only like very minor things where you can say that maybe this could have been the better Weekend. It's like I said, I think could have taken the strike before he went back, just to be, you know, have another weapon in hand. He wanted to support his Type 5s, understandable, but it was like really close to the strike coming back. And Trash Panda and Clownsick are just having a great time, and you know, Sunshine doing work in the IHM Panzer wagon as well. It's such a hard push for Hit and Run to execute because of the distance they need to cross, and then they're pushing onto the Type 5s, which is the tank you want to get pushed on. So they do like 2.5k burst, and then he pulls around the corner, and it's like, well, now what?
Yeah, I think Sunshine in this game, kind of the difference maker with the RHM, realizes he can go aggressive on the field as soon as they start having the info on the Type 5s in the middle. This means that, you know, it's probably not going to be a field play at that point. He snatches the info tower, and from there on out, Hit and Run. They need to commit somewhere kind of blindly, and they are trying to pull all their forces towards the Type 5s, which I think it's the only call you can make at that point in time, right? Because the Type 5s are not going to join, to be joining anyone else anywhere around the map. Instead, it is the other tanks that need to come towards the Type 5s. But Weekend very, very well set up to deal with this. And this means that we have a new leader in the AMD OLS Season 4. It is unexpected, but maybe not unwelcome Weekend. 4 wins, 0 losses, dropping only a single point so far. Hit, though, still in second place, slightly above Mafia.
Yeah, but at the same time, we gotta imagine though that at this point, you know, Yogurt winning, Mafia's win streak also getting back up there, putting themselves equal to Hit and Run. Yogurt now closing the gap together with W towards Cashback, and even slowly towards Hit and Run for W. So everything is coming back together for that top 6 in a way. But Weekend, of course, you know, being a little bit ahead. But outside of that, the top 6 closing in on each other. And putting everybody within striking distance. One bad play day, all of a sudden you're equal. Another bad play day, and it's already looking tough. And that's more already looking towards, you know, like the second phase than anything else, because to be realistic at this point for Vortex and Carrillo, to come back into it is going to be a miracle by itself.
I think it might still mathematically be possible.
It was as mathematically possible as McLaren losing the constructors this year.
Yeah, well, not gonna happen. Anyway, I think today was the first day, to be honest, when we started seeing real upsets in the OLS. I think the past play days, everything kind of went as expected.
I mean, Yogurt beating Cashback.
Yeah, and Weekend now just sweeping Hit. I mean, Hit was first place before this playday, and all of a sudden now Weekend are the team to beat. Now that of course means a lot of psychological pressure on them as well, because I think a lot of teams find themselves comfortable in sort of this, you know, chasing role where you're second, third, maybe fourth place, and you're always looking to close the distance to the first one, but the first ones don't have anyone in front of them. They are the ones being chased.
For sure, but for Weekend, it's probably liberating winning 3-0 against Hit and Run as well. Like, absolutely amazing performance. Eager to see if they keep it up, because if they can, this top 4, you know, Mafia, W, Hit and Run, and Cashback, at this rate, stage 2 is going to be very interesting for at least one of those.
Yeah, I mean, the playoffs have 4 spots, and
it's currently looking like there's 5 teams that are
wanting to go there, maybe even 6. I mean, Yogurt, if they
if Yogurt's
elevating
sure, if Yogurt keeps, if it stays like this, result-wise, then it's going to be stage 2 where the establishment could be under some pressure of playing relegations.
Under pressure. But yeah, anyway, that was a very interesting day in the AMD OLS, and thank you very much for casting it with both me and Baby. And also thank you to everyone behind the camera, and thank you to you guys, the viewers, for watching. And of course, if you've not managed to claim the 5 OLS tokens that are in store today yet, then as is, I think, standard and good practice, now we are going to rate this a beautiful man with the fresh haircut on my side. We're going to rate Daki on his own channel, and there you'll definitely be able to finish claiming. That all being said and done, thank you once again for watching. We'll see you on Thursday. Today it's Tuesday. Bye-bye.
This is the world's most advanced processor. In entertainment, its rendering speeds render other processors obsolete.
Thank you. Have a good stream.
Powers cloud services for billions. Helps change the course of climate change. And uses AI to accelerate disease detection and cures. We make the world's most advanced processors. But only with your vision can we advance the world. AMD. Together, we advance.